All righty. Hey, everybody. How you doing? My voice is a little cached. I apologize, but it's the sexy cached voice. I tend to think that when my voice is struggling like this, that it's at its finest. This is my voiceover. This is my Pepperidge Farm remembers voice. I can't always get to this. Just an overcast bullshit Friday in Mapril. Let's call today Mapril. Today is Mapril the 31st. How come there's only 30 days in May or in April? How come? So it's May 1st. Happy May Day, comrade. It's the Rant. I'm Pugs. We're here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios on RadioMisfits.com. Sorry, I'm really suffering from allergies. I don't know if you can tell. It's so. So I'm going to be a little less, probably hyperbolic and a little more slowed down and sluggish. So I apologize. Also, oh my God. So stressed out on this Friday of April the 31st. How come there's not 31 days in April? Seriously. Well, okay, look, I know on some smart guy level that it had to do with the stars and the alignment and the calendar and all that, but it just all feels so damn random. All right. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff we're going to do today. We're going to have Maddie on. We haven't had Matt. I feel like I've given Maddie the short shift all week long. She's going to come on. She's got a bunch of fun stuff. We're going to talk Bigfoot. Come on. Who doesn't know Bigfoot? Bigfoot is the Jello of topics. There's always room for Bigfoot talk. That's how I feel. I hope you feel the same way. And then we're going to get into some serious stuff. We're going to talk about... You know me. I'm not a fan of the billionaire sets. And if you've been listening to this show for any period of time, you know that the Sackler family's right up there at the top for me of, that class of people. So we're going to talk some Purdue Pharma. She's got a big story about Purdue Pharma and how the people responsible for the global opioid problem are being held accountable or not, or maybe they are. So Maddie's going to join us in about an hour. We got some new White House correspondents. We got a new tape. We got new video. We got the video I've been saying all week. Why don't we have? Why? If this video existed, then why did we get the other video first? I don't know what. But there's something going on, man. You can feel it, right? So we're going to talk about that. We'll watch the full video. We'll break it down. We even have video of the assassin meandering. Oh yeah. So we're gonna watch him meander around. I gotta say, did you guys? Well, I mean, I'll save that observation. Never mind. All right, I'll give you the first observation that I had when I was watching Cole Allen, the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, meandering around the hotel. My first thought was, why isn't that guy in a bar picking up a chick? That dude looks pretty slick. That guy, he's tall, he's thin. We know he's athletic as fuck because we saw him bum rush the security checkpoint. All right, so we'll get into that. We'll break it all down. Well, it's cool. It's cool, man. Whole new perspective or not. We'll see. What else do I want to talk about? I love this story. There was a story out of Wall Street, which I don't know anything about. People say Wall Street, I just think of jerk-offs with yachts. That's Wall Street. But apparently, there's this sex scandal going on Wall Street. A vice president at some big I don't want to say I don't even know the name because I'm not a money guy. But one of the big places is being accused by another former coworker of her making him a sex slave. A Wall Street sex slave story with more twists and turns and ups and downs than a roller coaster. So we'll get into that story today. Was going to do it yesterday, but remember I skipped over some things yesterday. I didn't want to do that one and the age difference story. Remember we did the age difference story about Anthony Kiedis and his much younger girlfriend. I just felt they were two kind of similar. So I'm glad I didn't do it yesterday because there are updates. Like I said, man, more twists and turns and ups and downs in the Wall Street sex scandal story than a roller coaster. Hi, Billy Falk. Oh, yeah, I got to check in with the chat room. Billy's my trivia buddy. I miss these people. Every day we like to award first, second, and third place on the podium. We do it Formula One style. Today, first place, look at Hart, Rhonda. April 2nd. And then look at this. Yeah, Adam. He's like podium. Adam's like podium. Very good. Third place. Perfect for Adam the Democrat. Perfect. He's happy. Third place. We also have an executive producer today. And, I went to go change the executive producer from the last time we rewarded the title of an executive producer. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I don't have to change anything because it's Peter. Peter again. Today's executive producer. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. You do become executive producer of the show if you happen to be the person, and in most cases, the only person to do a little something in the tip jar. That's how this show moves forward. Pledge week starts next Monday. So just know that. So, all right, let's see here. What else are we going to talk about? Oh my God. Okay. Remember earlier in the week when we talked about baseball, and I showed you the video of the guy at the Cleveland Guardians game who stole the ball from the little girl, and we were all like, that guy's the worst. Remember that? And we did that. All right, we got an update. With video. We're going to meet the guy. We're going to meet the little girl. I'm telling you, the world ain't doomed. The world is not doomed. We do have reason for optimism. Even though it's another gray, shitty April 31st. All right. A whole bunch of stuff that we're going to do. I want to start out, though, with a conversation that I had yesterday. And it was the first time I talk a lot on the show about programming and how some people take offense to that because, I don't know, they think I'm questioning their intellect or something. No, programming is just shit that we do without thinking about, or stuff that we say without thinking about. Nickelback is the worst band of all time. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's not true. But it's just people say shit like that. Programming, dumb shit we say. Well, it also goes for the slow roll of social change, where something that seems incredibly foreign to a person of one generation is the everyday norm for the next or the generation before that. Case in point, peanuts, right? We Gen Xers, we always like to joke that, nobody died from peanut allergies on our watch. Nobody was allergic to peanuts in 1981. And now, like every other kid is allergic to peanuts. Okay. And we accept it. We're like, I guess that's just it. Peanut allergies, Gen X dad at a backyard party, he's now sweating peanut allergies, whether these are made up or whatever, but they've certainly been accepted by society, and we respect these changes, all that stuff. So another example of this is lactose intolerance, right? Like all of a sudden, everybody is lactose intolerant. Now, I grew up in a dairy family. My grandfather ran a milk distribution company, milk truck, milkman. He was a milk 40s and 50s. He would go at 56, he'd not even knock, dude. I used to go on routes with him when I was very little, just walking into people's house, like we're to leave it to Beaver kind of shit, man. Crazy. The milkman's here, everybody knew him. He had access to everybody's house. So I come from a very pro-milk family, okay? All right, you're not taking my milk. You'll take my milk over my frothy mustached face, dead body. You get my point. I'm very pro-milk. But over the years, I've just kind of accepted that I guess lactose intolerance is the thing now. every fucking house in the neighborhood had 10 Irish Catholic kids, and they all drank 10 quarts of milk a week, and nobody ever got sick. All right, but now we got to accept half the people among us can't drink milk. I think it has more to do with the fact that they learned how to market milk that didn't have lactose, and they went, hey, let's create a problem because we got the product. So we accept lactose intolerance. So yesterday I stopped by my friend's house, not my friend's house, my friend's office on the way home. Hold on. Excuse me. I'm battling a cold. And he's got this assistant. She's, I guess, I don't know if she'd be late millennial or Gen Z. What is 23? She's like 23 years old. I think that's still Gen Z, right? So anyway, I don't even know how it came up. It came up because I was just telling you my grandpa's dairy used to be like right around the corner from where my friend's office is. That's how it came up. And I said to the girl, because she's apparently from the neighborhood, I didn't know how old she was, but I said, do you remember when there was a milk dairy over there? And she goes, no, I'm lactose intolerant. Okay. Couple of things. First of all, that should have no effect on your memory of the neighborhood you grew up in, okay? Whether or not you could, there were gas stations in the neighborhood I grew up in, okay? I didn't drink gas. I didn't drive a car. I didn't purchase gas. It's not like I was like, yeah, that's all fuzzy to me because I didn't purchase gas. So I didn't notice if there was, okay, so that's millennial or Gen Z. What is she? Gen Z strike one, right? I'm like, what the fuck? And because she's a kid and I'm friends with her boss and I'm a charming guy, I was being fun about it. I was like, oh, okay. I don't see how those two things are related. And then I said to her, and I go, so you're lactose intolerant, right? I saw an opportunity. I don't think I've ever had an opportunity to somebody in the moment they've told me they're lactose intolerant. So I took the opportunity, like, so you're intolerant. What exactly does it mean? And she looks at me and she goes, I get the farts. And I go, and like what? Like that? Like, and she's like, I get the farts. I get like the farts when I drink milk. And I go, well, that's me with every fast food restaurant in America. Well, you don't see me cutting out, I'm fast food lactose intolerant. You don't see me doing stupid shit like that. There's like an entire generation that is cutting milk and ice cream and all this stuff out of their daily lives because it makes them fart. That's what okay, so I had to go home, right? So I did a little research. I understand that there are extreme cases, which of course there are. There were extreme cases of sickly type people who couldn't have certain things back when my grandpa was a milkman delivering milk to everybody's house. Of course, there's certain extreme cases. But what I'm questioning is, are all of these like Gen Zers who are lactose intolerant, is it just because of farts? Do they not fart for a million other reasons 1,000 times a day anyway? I just don't see that. So maybe I am taking a bit of a milk stand, a pro-milk stand in this argument, but I had never honestly spoken to somebody who resists milk and dairy and cheese for a medical reason, and then to learn that the medical reason is it makes her fart. I don't think so. Is there anybody in the chat room with any of these new 1990s invented ailments? Because there's a lot of shit that came out of the 90s. Let's see. Okay, all right. Hold on. Of course. Of course. Hold on. Wait a second. Let me start from the beginning. Adam, are you lactose intolerant? Was your great-great-grandpa lactose intolerant? Was anybody before you in your family lactose intolerant, or did they just eat cheese-covered tortillas, like your ancestors did? And rough it. Were they the farty guy? Maybe that's, Adam says lactose intolerance more than peanuts for sure. All right, I honestly don't know what the context is of that. But Adam says, in fact, I had pancakes with my almond milk last week. And what the? Oh, for a friend, for one of her friends. Okay, all right. Again, no judgment. Even though I so love to get triggered by Adam. Adam and Frank, man, they're like, we go back like 20 something years. Feels we have this like thing. All right. And then we're very nice to each other because we appreciate anyway what we do for each other. All right. So I don't know. All right. So I get this. This is the thing we do. We do because we're not assholes, right? Like inside as a dad making breakfast for my kids' friends. Inside as a dad, I'm like, what the fuck? Almond milk? Are you fucking kidding? Like everything I'm doing right here is what I'm doing in here. But I do it and I do it gladly and I make sure it's okay for her. You know why? Because I'm not an asshole. Thank you. So that sounds like what Adam was doing in this case. So I don't know. I'm still not making any judgments. Let me see. All right. All right, here we go. He's ramping up. Adam's coming at me. Bam, bam. He says, it speaks to how you perceive things too. Now, I don't know if he's speaking in the royal you or if he means directed at me. He says, it speaks to how you perceive things too. When something is unavailable to you, you can easily turn it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Maddie is lactose intolerant. All right, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this. My kid has legitimate about what he can and can't eat. Okay, and I've seen the legitimate effects of it. I've seen the pain, and so I understand what that is. He ain't lactose intolerant though. He can eat cheese and guzzle milk like a billy goat, if that's what billy goats do. So I'm interested. All right, we will investigate Maddie and her lactose intolerance coming up here in about 45 minutes. So here's let me talk. Well, let me be fair. All right, here's Jen. Jen says, I'm lactose intolerant if I eat an entire pint of ice cream at 10 p.m. Well, then I am. I mean, aren't we all that? I mean, if I eat an entire pint of ice cream, I'm going to have expected stomach issues. That's why you're not supposed to. And I get it, Jen, right? Jen's not she doesn't use a scooter at Walmart, right? But sometimes we binge and we pay the price. If I have you ever seen those little fun size bags of like Snickers? Like sometimes I'll just get one of those and I'll eat like 10 of those and then I'll have a stomach ache. And I don't think, well, I'll never have those again. So I often think that because science is so good and there's so much money selling and selling us new shit, like I'll give you another example of that. Like, do you know that nobody put water in bottles and sold it until like 1988? And I know it's a joke. Gen X drank from garden hoses. Yes, water is and was plentiful. It is everywhere. And for the most part, it feels free. But business figured out a way to put it in a bottle and premium price it on 7-Eleven shelves. And that's us. That's us. And now we're weird, Gen X. I'm weird. My kid, talk about being programmed to think a new way. I'm weird in my kid's eyes when I chug a glass of water from a glass and the sink. It is appalling to him. You drink sink water? Sink water? What? Yes. This is called tap water. This is a fluoride clean adapter that we've got on it. We have some of the best water in the world in Chicago. That's a fact. What? What are you talking about? Yes, I drink out of the freaking faucet. So there you go. That's another example of it. And, we discover new medicines that treat things that maybe people don't know they have. And I don't know. I think a lot of this, I feel sorry for anybody who actually has legitimate stomach issues and pains and all that stuff, because as I said, my son does, and I've seen it and I understand it, right? But all of a sudden, half of the people in the world can't drink milk? What? I dare say there's a bit of an over-exaggeration there. Barney says, I don't have the self-awareness to link gastrointestinal issues to specific foods. Me neither, man. I know I'm fat, and I know that I'm a glutton, and I know that there is a price to be paid for that. You get sick. You go back to movies like in the 1940s and you'll see the fat kid with the giant bag of candy shoving it into his mouth. And then what happens? That kid gets sick. That's not a life-changing moment where he can no longer ever have candy again. Probably because they didn't have a product to sell that was specifically for that. No, not water from a toilet. No. But yeah, that's my kid thinks that the water that comes out of this is basically the same as the water that's in the toilet. I'm like, okay, all right, so you fucking shower in that shit, dude. Damn it. I didn't have that line then. I have that line now. Damn it. All right, so now I got to manufacture a situation where I drink tap water in front of him. I try to instigate him saying the same thing, and now I've got a great punchline. You shower in that shit, dude. Honestly, that doesn't see. We don't go to Walmart and buy 100-gallon drums of shower water. Although, why don't we? Why don't we, right? Seriously, start thinking like the people in power. Why don't we sell shower water? Why can't we market that? Shower water. You've been showering in gross sink water. That's our tagline. There we go. We're millionaires. Shit. First we're millionaires, and then suddenly I'm Secretary of Defense. I hear that's how it works. All right, let's see here. Let's get into the show, right? Let's do that. Thank you to Peter. Peter's our executive producer, and congratulations to our podium, which I believe consists of Tamaranda, April, and Adam. Yay! Did I say happy Communist Day? Happy Communist Day. It's May Day. Workers of the world unite, motherfucker. I love May Day. I love the concept of May Day. I love the concept. But what are you, a communist? No, I draw a very real distinction between what the Soviet interpreted communism as and what the intent of a May 1st Workers of the World Unite is. Two totally different things. Happy May Day to those of us who celebrate. We got new video from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is fantastic. We've got fantastic. No, it's not a 10 out of 10 because as I tweeted on Twitter at Pugs Moran last night, what? That's all we get? Because I don't need our government releasing, important national security and of national interest information like this, using a clickbait style where the video ends. And you ever notice that? Every viral video of a fight or a situation or a car wreck, every fucking one that you ever saw, you wish had 3 more seconds, but it doesn't. It just stops. And now the government is releasing video exactly like that. I'm like, that's it? There's no more cameras. He just happened to have fell exactly where there were no camera. All right. So look, maybe we get that video in a couple of weeks. Who knows? But please, really? Shouldn't there be one more shot in that video? Oh, well, we'll watch. We'll break that down. And we're going to do that here. Okay. So this one is clear. I've been rampaging and ranting all week long about why is it that every time we see important closed circuit security video, it's terrible. Look, that's not an original thought. Hack comedians from coast to coast, I'm sure, have had the same thought, but it's true in the regard that it is something that happens, and we're all programmed to just go, oh, another bad, grainy video of a man trying to kill the president. Okay, we accept that. Let me look at my phone. Somebody's at my door. And then it's like, perfectly crystal clear. So they released that. And now we have the much better video. And I don't know. It's just because I have zero faith in any of these institutions anymore. I don't trust anything that comes out of the government. Nothing. So why didn't they release this one first? Because if they didn't know it existed, then they're incompetent. And if they did know it existed and they intentionally released a bad one that was misleading or whatever, then what the fuck are you guys doing? Are you intentionally trying to gin and stir the pot? All right, so here's some new video. And like I said, hold on, I'm trying to pull it up. There it is. All right, give me a second here. Like I said, the video opens up with him walking around the hotel, and it's been interpreted as here he is casing the route beforehand that he will take when he makes his attempt to bum rush the White House Correspondents' Dinner. All right, hold on. All right. First problem, it appears to be in black and white. Right. But then suddenly it seems to be in color. It's very weird. I'm not going to get distracted by that. I just, curiosity. Why? This is a much better resolution. Look at this. We can actually see the design of the carpets. We can see the door handles. We can read the exit sign. It's not blurry. This is good. All right. This is. Hi, Al. I didn't want Al to feel like I wasn't going to say hi to him. All right. Let's watch this video and let's break it down. If he had only turned into the bar, I think this is the kind of guy who can get laid hanging out at a hotel bar on a night like this. He looks good. He looks good. There are going to be some drunk, desperate, chicks there. There always are. This is a big night at this hotel. He should be in the bar. He looks good. Here we go. Look at it. So the walk might be a problem. He walks kind of like. He walks like a spaz, doesn't he? He walks like a total spaz. Hold on. But here's the thing. He's thin and he's swarthy, which means, ladies, he's bangable. This guy's totally bangable. Are the shoes bad, though? I can't tell if the shoes are cool or if the shoes are bad. The jeans are good. The black shirt, he looks like any dude that would be in a club trying to pick up chicks. And this strikes me as interesting simply because every time we see one of these guys, it's always some inbred goober. It's always some guy, it's never a guy who looks like, why doesn't he have a girlfriend? Why isn't he out with his girlfriend? Why is he doing that? This guy him and Luigi, I guess. There's another kind of comparison between Cole Allen, the friendly federal assassin, as he wants to be known, Cole Allen and Luigi Mangione. All right. He walks like a spaz. He walks like a nerd. Because we watched video of him being interviewed by a local ABC station in Southern California from 2017, I think it was. He was being interviewed about some break he had invented on a wheelchair. And we watched that video, and I don't know if you all agreed with me, but I think I came down on the side of he's a spectrum kid. He's a spectrum surfer. I don't know where he is. He's really smart. He's obviously awkward. We saw he was awkward. And he was like the guy from The Simpsons, the nerdy college guy. So he's got that. So maybe the bar wasn't the best place for him. I can't, probably has no game. But my point is this. If he just shuts up and sits there and buys a few drinks, some chick will get drunk and go home with him because he looks fine, even though he walks like a total spaz. All right. What's he pointing at? All right, now this is where he goes into the health club, right? So he's just, this is cover. This is fine. You see somebody here at the desk. She's sitting at the desk. She's checking in guests, and it's totally normal. I mean, I've never done it, but I've checked into nice hotels with girls who, like, one of the first things they did was they wanted to go see the gym, right? So this is normal. He's just a guy. He's walking around. He's staying at the hotel. He's like, I want to check out the facilities. All right, let's watch him. But really, what we believe he's doing is planning his bum rush route. All right, so he's kind of talking to the girl at the desk. He's walking around, killing time. All right, now he's exiting. All right, now he's walking back. Don't know where he's walking back. What time is it? 21:02. I need my military people. What is 21:02? No. Well, I don't know what 21:02 is. I don't know what 21:02:32 is. Oh, this is Friday night. Oh, I do know. Okay, because I was confused. I thought this was like Saturday evening, and I know that the shooting took place like 7, 8 o'clock. So I was confused. Okay, yeah, this 21:02. This is like 10, 9. I don't know. I wasn't in the military. Something like that. 9 p.m., 10 p.m. All right. So it's the Friday night before the Saturday White House Correspondents' Dinner. There we go. Now we know where we are. He's got good genes. He's thin. You know what? As a guy who has spent his life fat, I can tell you, it doesn't matter. If you're thin, you should be able to get laid. If you're a guy and you're thin, that's all. That is all. Big fucking nose, doesn't matter. I'll make you a movie star if you've got a gigantic nose, but you're thin. This guy's thin. Yeah, I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad that this guy probably has better luck with women than a guy like me, who's fantastic. All right, here he goes. Approximately 3 minutes pass. All right. And he comes back like he's casing it. He's walking a little bit more there, I think. All right, now this is Saturday. I don't know what's going on. This is Saturday, 2023. Oh, I don't know what time it is. All right, here we go. Let's just get to this. I don't care. I'm not going to get distracted by that. Sorry, guys. This flu is kicking or not flu or whatever it is. It's just kicking my ass right now. All right, so now we have, oh my God, I just love it. Look at the resolution. We can read the exit signs. We can see the faces of the law enforcement that are involved here. All right. So let's check out the lay of the land, right? Hold on. Adam's got a good question. Why is it called a bum rush? I want one of you guys that isn't doing a stream right now, go ask AI. Maybe they'll return. Oh, we didn't do the word entomology subject from earlier in the week. Oh, wow. Thanks, Adam. You just reminded me of that. All right. So let's go back to the video here. All right. So I guess, is this Secret Service? Because, I just assume that Secret Service are the guys in suits and that all the rest of these are just local Capitol Police or Washington, D.C. police, whatever. I don't know who these two are. They look like every single public or county building I've ever been in has these two leaning against the wall. Now, I know this is a hotel, but isn't that true? Like anywhere, you go down to the Hall of Records or whatever, you go down to the courthouse, you're going to see these two just leaning against the wall. You don't know if they work there full time or if they're just visiting for a specific reason. You know they're in uniform and they seem official, but you have no idea. And you'll see they are fucking useless. They are, other than possible targets, these people are useless. All right, so here we go. These guys, they seem to be breaking down a metal detector, which is interesting. Anybody who's ever worked at a fast food restaurant or anybody that's ever worked somewhere, any hourly worker who's ever been like, I'm supposed to be off at 9. It's why every McDonald's you've ever walked into after 8 p.m. doesn't have a working shake machine. It's not that it's not working. It's that they already cleaned it. They already cleaned it for the morning, and they ain't dirtying it for you because you're probably the last person coming in tonight that's going to order one. So, yeah, it's out of fucking order. You don't get your Frosty or whatever. So that's what these dudes are doing. They're breaking down the metal tachometer, whatever. It's a word. There's a word for it. I have no clue. They're breaking this down because they want to get out of here. They're like, we got to get out of here, man. All right. Now, this right here, I'll back it up again. Just a little bit anyway. All right. So this is our guy, right? This is our guy. He walks. We see him appear in the hallway here. I hope you can see my little pointer. I think you can. We're going to see him appear in this hallway, and we're going to see him duck into this doorway. And then we're going to see him followed by a human and a dog. And the dog is the only one who seems to be like, there's something up with this guy. And the human's like, nah, it's cool. We're breaking down. We're getting out of here. I mean, look, I'm the guy who on Monday came in here throwing punches in defense of the United States Secret Service and all the shit that they'd taken. But over the week, I've learned new information. So here we are. Honest broker. These guys look like they're trying to get the fuck out of here. This guy, Secret Service guy, oh my God. All right. So this is what we're paying attention to down here, right? He's going to appear. Cole Allen will appear in the hallway. He will duck into this doorway. He will be followed by a cop and a dog. There he is, right? See him? He's ducking in the doorway. I'm looking at the dog. The dog immediately went after him. The dog's like, hey! The dog knows something's up. And that guy's like, no, I don't need the paperwork. I want to get home. My little girl's got a soccer game in the morning. He wants to go home. The dog is going, hey! And he's like, no, let's go home. It's probably nothing. And now he walks away. All right, now this is why it's interesting to me. Did you see how he turned and pulled the dog? He's like, okay, we're done. And he turns and he pulls the dog. And immediately, boom, here he comes. I mean, immediately. You can't get it any wronger than that cop. That cop just got it. What are you doing here? Nothing. Okay, come on, Fido. And then he immediately, and by the way, I think there's a closer up and you could see pictures. He had that gun pretty well hidden. He comes out of here and runs through here. Ethan Cole. Ethan Cole? No, not Ethan Allen, right? Ethan Allen's a furniture guy who also built America, I guess. I don't know. Patriotic furniture guy. Cole Allen. Cole Allen, there we go. Cole Allen. I knew I'd get it back. Got a lot of things swimming in my head right now. All right, so the cop just eyeballed him, said, you're fine, pulled the dog away. The dog's like, he ain't fine. And then immediately he comes running out. So here we go. This is what was a blur before. We now have more details, and we'll point them out as they reveal themselves. All right. So this guy has already, you would think, made a bit of a ruckus. I mean, by this point, isn't the dog barking? Isn't the guy who just a split second earlier, the cop who pulled the dog away, didn't he just hear these footsteps come bounding out of, or is he such an athlete that he's like a butterfly, man? That dude. I mean, at this point, this is a good 7-8 steps in. At this point, aren't people going, hey, what the fuck is this Secret Service guy doing? He's not reacting yet. This dude has gotten 8 steps. A dog is barked. Something's going on. And this guy is still, he's like, what's going on over there? That concierge sure is a hottie. I wonder if she's interested in a Secret Service agent. There you go. He wasn't prepared. All right, one more time. We'll break it down. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to hit it there. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. All right. All right, he goes in. No, he's fine, says the cop. Dog says, no, he's not fine. And he's like, yep. Now at this point, he's turned, you can see the brim of the cap on the officer. He has turned his head. I mean, shouldn't he be going, hey? Because if he's saying, hey, certainly this guy is going to hear it. All right, here, watch. Nobody's reacting. Like, this guy is thinking about getting his car out of the lot before he has to pay for another hour. This guy is still unscrewing a bolt. These cops here are just talking. They're just talking, and he's still checking out that hot concierge. And this guy is getting ready to bum rush the metal detector. Boy, I'm telling you, I guess it doesn't matter what your job is when you're off the clock. All right, now this guy's now drawing. He has reacted and instantly drawn his weapon and is rising. And this guy still, Mr. Secret Service, still hasn't responded at all. I mean, am I nitpicking? Maybe a little, right? Because I have the ability to freeze frame it, but it just seems like our Secret Service agents should be more, I don't know, frosty. This guy is totally not. He got caught way off guard. He was not on point. So here we go. All right, so the friendly federal assassin, he is, without question, pointing a weapon at the police officers here. He is. Now, this is important because with the other video, I was maintaining that I don't even know that he had his gun pulled. He was just running for the door rooms of the ballroom. He was trying to get in there, or the doors of the ballroom. So, without question, this man deserves to be put down right here in this moment, bullet center mass. As many times as possible. He is running. He is pointing his weapon at police. This guy is doing absolutely the right thing. And this guy's, again, he's completely lost. He is just, he's like, huh? These two cops, they're still talking. They're still trying to figure out where they're going for tacos. Where's the best place for tacos around the Washington Hilton? That's what they're talking about. And these fucks, they're watching it. They're just like, hey. Again, I'm not even sure they're real people. They might be some kind of covert government replicant police officer. You know how when cops stash police cars on highways and there's nobody in them, but they just park them there so that people will think they're being, clocked for speeding tickets? I think that's what these people are. I don't think they do anything. I think they're mannequins. Where did all those Sears mannequins go? Well, here we are. All right, so this is a shootout in question right here. Okay. Did you see that flash? I don't know. Let me see that again. Let's watch that one more time. We have to watch this a bunch. All right. I gotta say, this cop here, man. I mean, he was on point. He was the only guy, and he's like, "Hey, a little help? Anybody else?" There's no reason this dude should have gotten past them, is my point. There's like 10 cops standing around. This guy shouldn't have gotten, he should have been killed immediately. That's a problem, man. That's a real problem because it doesn't speak to the inefficiency, incompetence, or whatever you want to say about the United States Secret Service at the moment. But it's encouraging to fucking crazy people out there. Like how many lunatics looked at this and went, if there were two of us, what if 5 of us did it? What if 5 of us all did it at the same time? One of us would surely make it. All right, so let's watch. Here we go. And now the only reason that he reacts is because he thinks somebody's going to step on his foot. But he's doing, somebody's going to step on my foot. All right. There we go. Sorry, we're gonna do this a lot because I think it's good video. And I got things to say. All right, here he comes. Here's the shooting. Now, I know for a fact that this dude must have fired. Who among us. This is a clear, justified shooting. There are problems with this shooting, though, and there's maybe a reason why he didn't fire, although I believe he's the one who fired, which is a problem because as of the time that I hit live today, there was still no information on who got shot, who did the shooting. But this video at least gives us some context to, even if we are wrong, be wildly wrong and slightly justified in our wrongness. Because this video does suggest, as I said, I think 9 out of 10 of us would pull the trigger if we're this guy right here. Boom, boom, point blank. He's pointing a gun at us. I'm not worried about, the Three Stooges along the wall here. I am having a gun pointed at me. I am firing. So this guy is firing, okay? Whether or not he is, I don't know. Here's what I think. I would believe that he did. I mean, I would believe that in this situation, you're running past a guy with a gun pointed at your head and you've got a gun, even though your manifesto says that, you're going to fire if you have to. Well, this seems to be a situation where he would think that he would have to. So I am going to believe that he did fire, although I don't believe that the evidence or even circumstantial evidence that he fired is anywhere near the circumstantial evidence that the other guy fired. But let's just say I could be convinced that right here they're exchanging gunfire, even though I'm not sure. All right, so he's got an eye. And remember, nobody shot him. He didn't get hit. So if the guy point blank is firing at him, he didn't hit the psycho. He didn't hit Cole. Is it Cole Allen? Why can't I? It's good that I can't remember his name. That's good. Now, Luigi Mangione, I'm never going to forget because it's such a lyrical name. And, I always think of Chuck Mangione. So I'm never going to forget Luigi Mangione's name. But this guy will. Nobody hit him. Nobody hit him. They're all firing at him. Another problem and more encouragement for the psychos of America. Ugh. Nobody hit him. How did nobody hit him? And he runs right past this guy. Do you know what's happening here? See, here's the thing. This is why I want the other camera. There's got to be a camera that covers this area. See the area in the far right? See where the carpeting changes? There's got to be a camera that shows us this area, but we don't have that video yet. And that's the area where he falls and where all the cops emerge. And I don't know if they're firing or whatever because he's already down. They probably think that one of them surely hit him because they've just unloaded. Gang, 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 gang. We heard it. We heard it in the ballroom from that video. They all missed. And the only person that got hit was a cop. And I still kind of believe, even though that, they're the government last night, I guess there was a statement saying, no, that we absolutely positively know that the Secret Service agent who was injured, and he's fine, by the way, and God bless him, but the Secret Service agent who was injured was not shot by friendly fire. Fake news, fake media. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. I don't know, because nobody shot him. And here's why this is important that we get the next couple of seconds that, from a camera that is covering this area. He's falling right here. This is why he fell. This is exactly what I said. You remember when I described why he fell? Like a running back at the goal line. He's getting so low to the ground because everybody's firing at him that he's going to become a victim of gravity. And he's going to, at some point, stumble. Even the greatest athletes in the world, this is how they get taken down. They get a little top heavy while they're running downhill. And that's what he's doing. And what happens in this area, he falls and he just goes, Plah! And that's when everybody's, good job, good job. That's when we got him. We got him because he's fallen. And now let's keep watching it. But they won't show us him falling. See, right now look at him. He's like, I got him. He's like, what were you doing, dude? What were you doing? Now he's got his gun. All right. These people are firing. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna pay attention to the Three Stooges against the wall, because I think there's a good chance it's one of them that was shot. I think it was the guy here. All right, we'll go back. No, here, we'll go back to here. All right, so watch. All right. All right. So he's firing, and one of these guys falls, and then like I think he shoots one of the Three Stooges. Watch. I don't know. We need more video, but all right, so he shoots. All right. See the guy in the middle who went down? Keep paying attention down here. Everybody else has ran, and he's just laying there. See how he's just laying? I think he got shot. I think he got shot by this guy. This guy ends up shooting this guy. And it makes total sense. It makes total sense to me anyway. I mean, ask me if my eyes are deceiving me, maybe. But from this position, I think that this guy misses the point blank shot here and shoots this guy. But all right, he's shot right now. He's going down. Oh. And did they say the guy that got shot was wearing a vest? Well, that guy's definitely wearing a vest. All right, now he can't get up. See, everybody else is running. Who are these guys on the side? Who are these? Were these guys on the outside of these doors? Were they like making sure nobody through these doors? Because they come flooding out of here. See, look at them all. All right. Anyway, they was around the corner. He seems to have recovered all right. Like he seems, he got up. He first time he tried to get up, he fell. And then he kind of struggled to get up with his balance and all that. And maybe he had the wind out of him. Maybe he took a slug to the chest, but he recovered enough. He recovered to make it around the corner to see. So, all right. I don't know where this guy's going. He's going. All right. Look at these. Look at sauntering in. These guys. Yeah, a little late, boys. All right, now we'll watch it again. They're slowing up the speed. The speed slowdown can't be good for the Secret Service agent who is just, first of all, in real time, his reaction speed was awful. Look, nothing, not even reacting. He's just checking out the hot concierge. This guy shoots the second stooge. Now he shoots again, probably goes into the wall. He shoots again. Okay, now the Secret Service agent is reacting and he can't get his gun out. Barney Fife's struggling. Now here comes everybody else. And, you know, they're all the heroes now because he tripped and fell like Saquon at the 3. All right. So what do we make of that? I don't know what we make of that. It's new video. Here's what I believe, okay? Here's what I believe. I believe that it's possible that there was a shootout, but I'm not entirely convinced that he fired, and I'm certainly not any more convinced by that video that the bullet that injured the Secret Service or the cop or whoever was hurt, right? We're not even sure. We don't know anything about this guy. We were led to believe on day one he was a Secret Service because we all just think that all the people surrounding the president's protection detail is Secret Service. But he very well could be anything from U.S. Marshals to county police to whatever. So we don't know, and that's part of the problem. We don't know. We don't know how serious it is. It is obviously not serious because if it was serious, every time somebody brought up anything about this, the messaging from the White House would be, there is a man who gave his life, and they're not doing that. So you know it ain't serious. Who is he? What is he? Who fired? Why don't we know any of this stuff? And, you know, maybe, honestly, it's none of business. It should, in a normal set of circumstances, be none of our business, except that we live in a world where everything provides and comes with video. And we have questions that maybe we didn't have at other times. Okay, so we have questions. We now see things. We're wondering. So, yeah, answer to the fucking people. What is going on? Here. Oh, what is this? Hold on. I got another piece of video here that for some reason I saved last night. But again, last night was a little high when I put this together. So. Oh, okay. This is good video. Oh, this is nice. Okay. So here, I'm going to share with you a little piece of video. This is a close-up of the shooter when he goes into that little side room there and the dog, right? The All right, and the dog responds, but the cop is kind of like, I'm getting off shift here in 5 minutes. All right, so here, watch this. This is close up. All right, so there he is. There's the shooter. I don't know what that room is, right? Are there vending machines in there? I'm trying to think of what this could be in a hotel. Could just be a doorway to some, catacombs inside the hotel, where the servants all work. Servants. where the people who work there all do their thing. I don't know. I don't know what room this is. I don't know how big this room is. And I think that's important. Because if it's just a little closet or if it's just a little doorway with like restricted access to a upper level or something, shouldn't the cop, and we're going to see it here in close up, shouldn't the cop have spent a little more time? Now, if it's a big room in a hallway and the cop probably just thought he was disappearing down the hallway in the opposite direction, maybe. So I don't know. Context of what this room is or where he's disappearing to is kind of important. But here, let's watch. All right, so he goes in there immediately. Here's the dog. The dog's like, hey. This dog is absolutely leading the cop. The dog is the one that was signaled by this, okay? The dog is like, hey. The dog goes in there, and now the cop's like, okay, what's going on? See, again, what is the cop seeing here? What is the cop seeing here that made the cop go, that's fine? Because that's exactly what the cop is doing here. The cop is going, that's fine. And he's pulling the dog back. He seems to be speaking with him. Wouldn't you love to know what this conversation was? And why didn't we know what this conversation was Sunday morning? This kind of stuff we used to know all the time. There's reporters whose, jobs depend on finding out this stuff. Well, maybe he's not talking. Yeah, well, that his brother-in-law is, and that's what reporters do. So what did he tell you? It's called sourcing. So I don't know what he's saying here, but he seems to be having some kind of conversation with the guy, and a conversation that ultimately ends with this cop going, you're cool. All right, but and now the dog's like, I don't know. Well, he's like, all right, I'm getting out of here. He walks away. Now walk one. Instantly. Like immediately. And now suddenly he's got a big gun. Like, could the cop not see the gun? And, when we saw him walking through the hallway, he had it concealed pretty good because I didn't go, he's got a gun. Somehow he had it concealed so well that this cop standing feet away from him couldn't tell that he had a gun under his coat and a gun that he could, bring to action in the bat of an eye, because as soon as the cop turns, he pounces. It's crazy. He's like, all right, you're cool. Thanks, man. And now he runs. And the cop's like, hey. I'm just wondering, don't you drop the dog? I mean, I wouldn't want the dog to have gotten shot in that hail of bullets, but at this point, don't you drop the dog? Like, doesn't the dog want to chase him? I don't know. Again, this is where we loudmouth streamers get into trouble because we sit here and we pretend like we know what procedure is, right? I have no idea. That's not even an attack dog. Well, it should be. See, right now, the dog should be going, roo, roo. Actually, looking at the dog seems pretty chill. Well, it's a professional dog. All right. Safe to say that under the microscope like this, which is maybe not fair to all of the other situations that have happened before this, but under the microscope like this, I don't have the same view of the Secret Service that maybe I had when I was a young man growing up. I mean, to me, all the way through the depiction of the Secret Service in the West Wing was that they were above reproach. They were non-political. They were non-partisan. They had some very specific goals, and, people worked in that Secret Service administration for like 40, 50 years. Again, didn't matter Republican, Democrat, nothing like that. They were beyond reproach. I had a friend whose sister became a Secret Service agent. I remember thinking, that's so cool. How awesome is that? Stepsister, but still, the genes weren't. It's like, and it meant something in 1988, I think, when I probably learned that. Wow. In 1988, me was impressed that she was a Secret Service agent. Clint Eastwood movie, Secret Service agents. Is that, again, another example of the programming that I talked about here at the start of the show? Yes. Yes, I was programmed to think the Secret Service is one thing. Now, 2026, everything is recorded. We see what happens under fire, and we're like, that ain't how it would go down in a Clint Eastwood movie. So I don't know that I'm looking to. I don't know that that's anybody's fault. is understanding reality and me being disappointed that the fantasy presented to me that I happily consumed isn't true? Is that my problem or their problem? I don't know. And neither does you. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, here's a fun little. Yeah, we'll go out with this. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. Battling this this thing here. Check this out. This is funny. Look, somebody did this with AI. Look, it's all our favorite presidential protection detail. Although one of the Three Stooges is missing. Isn't that weird? Conspiracy! Why is one of the Three Stooges missing from along the wall in the AI video? What are they trying to say? Thanks, Obama. All right, here. Look at them. Oh, they're having fun. That's what they're getting off for. Oh, what's going on? Come on. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, we have fun. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to do here today? I got too many windows are open, guys. I'm sorry. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, boy. You know what? It's already 1:15. You know, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a hot cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, and then we're going to bring Maddie in, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, everything from Bigfoot to Purdue Pharma. Quick break, and then we'll come back, and after Maddie, then we'll do the rest of the show, because I still have this really fun Wall Street sex slave story that I got to get into today, and I want to do that. I want to present that for you in the way that I formulated it. So quick break. Thank you again to our podium today, which is Taronda, April, and Adam. That's our podium, 1, 2, 3. Our executive producer is Peter Great. Thank you, Peter. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Maddie. Again, we're going to talk. Triumph the insult dog, Bigfoot getting into shit. We got Purdue Pharma too. I want to get into that. All right, back after this. Are we there? We're back. All right. Very good. All right. Mr. Popular. Hold on. Sorry. Sometimes it doesn't take as long as I think, and sometimes it takes longer. This time it took longer. I apologize for the extended break. Let's talk to Maddie. It is time for Maddie on a Friday. I don't know, that doesn't work. How about we just call it What's on Maddie's Mind? There she is. Hi, Maddie.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
It is raining here. You got bad weather in Chicago?
Yeah, we've got bad weather in that it's, April 31st, and it's 50 degrees. It's supposed to be at least like high 70s and sunny now. I mean, yeah, no, it's shitty. It's gray. It's overcast. Ugh.
Yeah, it's storming here. I'm not sure how bad it's going to be over the weekend, but let's go ahead and get into it. You want to start with Triumph, since you were just talking about White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah, okay. So Triumph, explain to people who Triumph is.
Triumph the inside dog. We see him. He attends all kinds of red carpet events. I feel like we don't see him as much anymore because MTV is much of a thing. We used to see him a lot at like the MTV Music and Video Awards.
Yeah. Well, he was a Conan O'Brien thing. So Conan O'Brien is kind of out of the spotlight, other than his own little, podcast. So
well, in the spirit of what the White Correspondents' Dinner is supposed to be, which is a roast. I mean, can we all agree that what it's normally designated is a moment where it's supposed to be, some cheap shots at the expense of the president, and the president gets up and then he kind of cheap shot some other people. I think the last good one we saw was Obama. We didn't see any good ones, but Obama got up there and did some good stuff, and he appeared with Keegan Michael Key. Was that who it was?
I don't know.
They did some funny stuff in his first term in office. But anyway, so in the spirit of what the White House Correspondents is supposed to be, before we decided that mentalists were the right choice for performers, Triumph appeared, and he was doing his normal shtick as the attendees were filing in. Of course, I think we didn't get a lot of this after the fact because of how all right,
we got to watch this.
All
right, yeah, you're prattling on and on and on. Okay, we got to watch this. What I want to say here about Triumph is that this is actually Robert Schimmel, who is one of the greatest comedy writers of the past 40 years. Robert Schimmel has created everything from the ambiguously gay duo. Remember them from Saturday Night Live?
Mm-hmm.
To Dub Bears, that whole thing from Saturday Night Live. Robert Schimmel is a genius, and Triumph has been a way for him to kind of become a performer in his own right, while still kind of remaining hidden. But Schimmel is one of my all-time favorites. So that's who the voice in the hand and the creator behind Triumph is. Yeah. So let's watch this. Triumph goes to the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I am here at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, an annual gathering of the press that celebrates, or in tonight's case, fondly remembers, free speech. On this night, members of the press sit down for a lavish dinner, served by some of their former colleagues.
So many of the biggest names in D.C. are here, such as Redacted and Redacted. CNN, this is a big night. How about Wolf Blitzer? Is he going to be here? Because I want to catch him before the bosses replace him with Jake Paul. Listen, where are all the stars? That's what I want to know. I'm the biggest star here. It's pathetic. This thing needs a red carpet like the Olive Garden needs a velvet rope. Fox News guy. Come on, you're not above this. The Sun. We got the Sun. Peter Ducey. This is a catch. What a night. No comedians. We don't need comedians. We have a mentalist. And do you think Trump's going to tell some jokes like how he won the Iran war and how gas prices are going down? Pretty good stuff. It's Peter's dad. Peter, let's go. Peter, if the mentalist asks Trump to pick a number, it'll probably be under 18. Would you agree? You guys at Fox News know what I'm talking about.
That's a great line. That's a great line right there. All right, we got more. This goes on for 5 minutes. We can't watch the full 5 minutes.
To the end, because the very last person that he interviews is Marco Rubio.
All right, here you go. I got you, Marco. Here's Marco
Go
Rubio.
to Marco. The rest of this is kind of non-consequential. Nobody really interacts with him. There's some laughter. I think everybody was being generally good-natured about it.
Yeah.
Come on, you can do this. What's the matter, Mr. Secretary? I'm down on my luck, Marco. Please, just one question. Just tell me which country you're attacking next. I'm trying to win some money on Polymarket. I'm trying to win some money on Polymarket, man. Just give me a wink in Kazakhstan.
All right, there you have it. That's Triumph. Triumph, the insult dog at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in happier times.
Yeah. And all this to say, like, I got to give it to Marco. I think he was good-natured about it. I don't have any criticisms of Marco. I mean, the only thing he said was his dog's a pain in the ass, and then he kind of punched him in the face a little bit, but he interacted with him. Good for him. Nobody else did.
I agree. President Rubio knows how to behave. All right, what else do you have? What else? Tell me about Bigfoot.
Yeah, we got a Class A Bigfoot sighting in Calcasieu Parish, everybody.
Where's down there by you?
Yeah, down here by me. Now, look, I am not.
All right, stop. Wait,
person.
hold on. Well, good, because I am. So let me just tell you something. You don't got Bigfoot down there. What you got is the classic Southern American swamp ape. But go ahead, do continue.
Okay. Well, I had to do some research because I didn't know anything about how organized Bigfoot people were. But there's an organization called the BRFO, the Bigfoot Register Organization, and down by the Houston River at the West Fork Pass where Calcasieu River joins up, which is the parish where I live in, they have confirmed this as a Class A, which I had to also figure out what this meant. But Class A apparently means highest credibility category, reserved for sightings where misidentification can be competently ruled out.
Great. And according to who? Who is supposedly saying this is credible? I am a big fan of the whole cryptozoology world, but okay, please. Who's saying it's credible?
The BRFO is.
Of course. Okay. All right, do continue.
Anyway, from what I understand, the witness had a clear, unobstructed view. Lighting and distance were good enough to confidently describe what she saw, and misidentification of known animals is unlikely. And so basically, she went out on her back porch. She saw a Bigfoot, took some blurry pictures, and sent them. And the BRFO said, Class A. Bing, 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 bing. We got a winner. There's a Bigfoot in South Louisiana.
Oh, man. Okay. So any pictures released or anything like that?
I sent you the only thing that I had. It was from a news report from local news. Now, I did call a local nuisance wildlife removal company here in town.
Okay.
They posted on their Facebook, which I thought was rather hysterical, because they were getting calls and people wanted to know what they were going to do about the Bigfoot. And so let me see. Hold on. I screenshotted this. Let me see if I can find it now, because here it is. So this is from Robert Predator Control. I called and talked to Mr. Robert personally. And he says, an alleged Bigfoot sighting in Moss Bluff, Louisiana has all the key experts weighing in on the subject. Here are a few things to remember. If you haven't been killed by a Bigfoot yet, odds are you don't have much to worry about. Number two, if you've never witnessed one, you probably never will. No matter how long you've been at your job, I know what I saw is still not proof. A Bigfoot can bleed. It can be tracked. And an animal weighing hundreds of pounds will leave sign of its passing if you just have to know what you're looking for, and also that Bigfoots make big tracks. So I talked to Mr. Robert yesterday, asked him how many phone calls he had gotten. He said he'd been reached several times. They wanted to know what he was going to do about it. And the clear response he gave me was absolutely nothing.
Well, here's what you need to do, Maddie. Okay, very good. I've been waiting for this opportunity. You need to get on the blower and call that man back. And you happen to have the nation's #1 Bigfoot expert, your friend Pugs, and that for a small fee, he would be more than happy to consult and advise on next moves. Because seriously, somewhere in America, there is a crazy person who has been telling his whole family that he's a Bigfoot expert who's about to have cash in his pocket this weekend. The Bigfoot conspiracy world, this is a moneymaker. Louisiana, yeah. It's a swamp ape. That would be my first thing. I'm like, well, we're approaching the reason that you have no evidence because you're approaching it wrong. It's not a Bigfoot, it's a swamp ape. And then you introduce them to the concept of the swamp ape, which, is a thing down there.
Well, possibly. Like I said, I don't know that this is necessarily their area, so I'm not sure what it could be. Lady says she saw something. He also reported that for several days prior to that, the pets in the area were acting weirdly, that they refused to leave their back porches and things like that. So apparently the animals knew something was up. There was something out there that was walking around that they were uncertain of. They wouldn't go out in the backyards. They wouldn't leave the back porch. The dogs wouldn't leave the driveways and things like that. And then the lady stepped in and said she saw what the problem was, and it was a very large Bigfoot. Bigfoot has been sweeping the social media accounts. I've seen several realtors in the area who have a lot of friends of who are using Bigfoot pictures to now promote their
sure.
listings.
Okay, so that's going to be your thing down there, Bigfoot. That's going to be a new local brand for you. Here, I got this. It says a Sasquatch sighting was recently reported in Southwest Louisiana, garnering the attention of Bigfoot enthusiasts. The sighting was reported north of Westlake the night of April the 14th, according to Facebook posts. That's what ABC affiliate WL or KLTY is using as a source these days, a Facebook post. The sighting was reported north of Westlake on Facebook. According to the post, the witness was doing yard work when she went onto lower ground in the woods near her house, which may have triggered a tall Sasquatch to crash away from her. Here's the quote: triggered a tall Sasquatch to crash away from her. I don't even know what that means. What does crash away from her mean?
I was scared of that lady because she had a rake in her hand. I don't know.
I was hoping maybe that was some Louisiana slang you could interpret. All right. The creature was then said to have entered a nearby canal. A report submitted to the BFRO. There's that that austere organization. The BFRO. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, in the universe of Bigfoot, it is very credible. It's just that Bigfoot in the normal universe is not very credible. That's all I'm saying. A report submitted to the BFRO website stated that the area pets were behaving strangely, as Maddie just reported. The group was founded by Matthew Moneymaker.
Love that name.
I mean, almost 2 on the nose. All right. See, he's got money in his pocket this weekend. He's been broke for years. He's been doing this since 1995, it says. He's never had any interest in this stupid company that he's got. And now Matthew Moneymaker is being quoted by the local ABC affiliate. Look at him. Moneymaker was dubbed.
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking Moneymaker has like a storage locker with a bunch of Bigfoot traps and Bigfoot baits or Bigfoot alarms? Like, depends on which way you want to go. You want to trap it or you want to protect yourself from it? You need a Bigfoot alarm system or you need a Bigfoot trapping system. Now look, this is South Louisiana. There's some crazy coon asses.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, let me paint the picture for you. This is what we're dealing with here in Matthew. Okay, Matthew absolutely operates his business out of a U-Haul storage place. You are absolutely right. He's got all of his shit in there. His 100% of his business is there. He lives in a funky apartment off an interstate. And
I'm picturing a camper trailer he pulls behind him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
he parks
like those tornado guys that go and drive all over Oklahoma, tornado hunters.
Right. Yeah. And his neighbors in the funky apartment complex hate that he takes up 3 spots with that stupid fucking trailer in the back there. And it's a big point of contention between them. But here's what I like to imagine. I like to imagine that he lives in this funky apartment. And he does streams like me. He's crazy like me. He does that. But he's got on a coffee table. Like, do you remember when Sports Illustrated used to give you like football phones? Like you could get a phone shaped like like a phone shaped like a football or something. All right, what he's got is like a Sasquatch foot. And that's his Bigfoot phone. And he just sits there.
That's like the red phone in the White House.
Yes.
Like they're impacting, like, I've got a Bigfoot sighting, it rings, an alarm goes off inside. He's like, oh no, wait, like the scene in Ghostbusters when she's like, we got one.
Yeah,
Damn,
well,
and she hits the...
yes, but it's not his only phone. He's got a cell phone. He's kind of normal. But that phone is tied to a phone number on the Bigfoot website. So whenever someone calls, he knows what that's about.
Bigfoot,
right. That's him. Right. That's Matthew Moneymaker. Okay, well, good luck to him. Let's move on to the important story. Tell me about the Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family and all that stuff.
Well, we got some finality to at least the first set of things. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see much more out of this. It seems pretty final. This has been going on since 2020. So, back in 2020, Purdue Pharma pled guilty to 3 federal criminal charges, and in an effort to escape anything else that would happen or that they would dredge up. They went into some trials.
Wait, hold on. There needs to be some context here for people who are unfamiliar with what we're talking about. The Sackler family owns Purdue Pharma. Purdue Pharma is responsible for the global opioid epidemic. Continue.
OxyContin producers.
Yeah,
correct.
Continue.
The OxyContin producers and MS Contin producers, right? So, and what they're being accused of, obviously, is they have been linked to almost 1 million U.S. deaths since 1999 due to the opioid epidemic that swept through our country like a raging wildfire.
Yeah, because they offered doctors bonuses for prescribing these non-addictive opioids.
Incentivized over producing this. Yes.
So everybody got addicted everybody got addicted. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps for people so that you can spread out and run.
Yeah.
Everybody got addicted.
Clinics opened up. Doctors were sent on trips. They were given money to give speeches. They were incentivized to overwrite prescriptions. You name it. Any level of of just absolute corruption that could be involved from direct medical professionals as possible was part of this whole thing. So in 2020, they pled guilty to 3 federal criminal charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States in violations of the federal anti-kickback statute. The company admitted it failed to prevent diversion of the opioids and misled the DEA while paying doctors to prescribe more OxyContin. So they've been doing this. The criminal charges got dropped, and they kind of attacked this from a pocketbook perspective and not so much leaning into the idea that they wanted the Sackler family to sit in jail. They wanted their money is what it was, because, there's so many people that were affected by this problem, from family members who were died, but also from themselves being addicted through this process, that they knew that there was going to be a lot of defendants that were going to need some sort of money, contribution. Well, back last year, I believe it was, the federal court came down with a $5.5 billion decision on how much they would have to make. And of course, the Sacklers tried to appeal that. But also in the process, continue to produce this product, continue to make money off this product, and all just a way to delay the eventual payday. Well, finally, this past week, the final federal court judge who was hearing this final appeal from them, they have upheld the decision. And what has been decided is that Purdue Pharma is going to have to pay out somewhere to the tune of about $7.4 billion, but it's going to be spread out over an amount of 15 years, which isn't the greatest outcome for these people's lives who were affected by this. Again, just giving them many more times to figure out how to come up with this money. They obviously don't want to use the money they have now. They want to try to stockpile additional money, but I don't know. I'm very conflicted about this decision. I don't think it's the best decision. I think this could have gone way harder on them. But as a part of this, what has also come out is that the Sackler family and Purdue is going to be liquidated. It can no longer operate or sell any level of opioid pharmaceuticals at all. And all of Purdue's assets are going to transfer to a new nonprofit company called Noah Pharma. Noah Pharma's entire agenda is to produce opioid addiction treatment and overdose reversal medications under strict oversight to prevent abuse. Approximately $865 million of this is allocated to the individual victims, with payments ranging from anywhere to $8,000 to $16,000. So apparently, if you lost your loved one, it's worth about $8,000. And over $100 million is set aside for children born with opioid withdrawal. A large portion of this is actually going to go back into the states that were largely affected by this, which is going to be a lot of the South and Southeastern states, West Virginia, Virginia, Louisiana, Florida. Florida was hugely affected by this. And all of that money is allocated towards addiction treatment. Now, I do think that that's wonderful. I really hope, I mean, fingers crossed, I hope that this money goes where it's allocated to be. I hope that the oversight is making sure that this is going to happen. But they are saying that as far as these kinds of cases go, this is the largest settlement that has ever been reached against a pharmaceutical company with regards to their involvement with such a horrible thing that happened.
Yeah, it's not satisfying. I don't give a shit about numbers or, it's the largest settlement ever. The Sackler family is worth estimated anywhere between 10 and 20 million dollars. Most of the numbers that you'll find say currently they're worth about 12 billion dollars. So a $7 million judgment, they can just write a fucking check for that today.
7 billion.
How much?
7 billion.
Right,
Not million,
right,
7 billion.
right. Okay, so 7 billion. They can write a check for that fucking today, and they still have $6 billion as a family. They are not going to suffer in any way, shape, or form. Oh, their company's closed down. These fuckers were on the golf course anyway. The only people who are suffering from any kind of change at Purdue Pharma are probably the regular people who worked there. The regular people who work there probably aren't going to be included in whatever these new changes are. But the Sackler family, they still get to be billionaires. They're nobody spending any time in jail, even though everybody knows that here in America alone, as you stated, they're responsible directly for the deaths of at least 1 million people. Don't forget what they did. They had a product that they knew was different than a product that was demonized, which was the Tylenols and all of that. And pain was a chronic issue in America. They saw it as a moneymaker. They knew that this product had addictive qualities, and yet they marketed it to America's doctors as something that had no addictive qualities. So doctors around the country prescribed this new miracle drug, and everybody got addicted to fucking opioids. That's what this company did. So excuse me for not getting excited about a $7 billion judgment. That's the biggest judgment ever. The Sacklers are still a billionaire family, and they're untouched.
We agree on that. Like I said, I don't find this to be very satisfying. I think that the defendants in this court case are probably also very unsatisfied with this outcome. Again, who in their right mind could think that $6,000 is enough to make you forget that you either lost a loved one or were directly affected by an opioid addiction that transformed your life in every way moving forward?
$6,000, $8,000 because your dad died or your husband OD'd or your son OD'd. That is bullshit money. That is bullshit. Nothing. That changes the next couple of months. It is not life-changing money. Okay,
maybe it's not life-changing money, and also
the Sacklers are still billionaires. Okay, that's my problem.
And not in jail. And that's the thing too, is like, because when these lawyers go to these families and try to include them in these lawsuits, the messaging is like, look, we're not going to go for the criminal charges. We don't want them to sit in jail. What we want is their money.
They don't want to set the precedent. Hold on, they don't want to set the precedent in this country that we put businessmen in jail. That's what they're all protecting. We've never truly crossed that Rubicon other than businessmen who make money at the expense of other businessmen, like insider trading and shit like that. Those guys we put in jail. But we are not in the habit in this country of putting con men businessmen who reach a certain level of success in jail. That's a slippery slope, and they all know it. That's what's happening here.
Well, and like I said, just imagine that you're the family that was approached by these lawyers that said, "Look, we're going to get you money. We're going to get you plenty money. We're going to avoid the criminal charges because we really want to go after their pocketbooks, and it's going to be beneficial to you." And you signed that piece of paper that said that you were in agreement with the idea that the Sacklers would never spend a day in jail in exchange for a payday that you expected, only to get that payday be $6,000. Like, if I was one of those families, I'd be like, keep your fucking $6,000 and put these motherfuckers in jail. Because if I'd have known that I was going to get $6,000 for this by the fact that my kid is addicted to opioids, or my life has been changed, I can never have a job again, or whatever, how it affected me, I would have given up $6,000 to make sure that every single one of those shitheads wound up in jail for the rest of their lives.
The insidious thing about this whole thing is that even, my husband, who was a roofer, he fell off a roof and he became a junkie and he ended up overdosing. There used to be a way for us, the normal public, to be able to marginalize that story, because we could say to ourselves, well, he's a junkie. He made those choices. He was just a good time Charlie, and he wanted to have a good time, and he didn't. That's how we used to be able to do that. But the insidious piece of this is that none of these people were junkies. They were taking the advice of doctors that these pills were not addictive, and then they got addicted.
Sure, some of this hit the streets, but you're absolutely right. And I was going to tag this with a personal perspective story as well, because back whenever OxyContin and the crack epidemic hit New Orleans, I lived in New Orleans, and I used to work at a company called Textron Marine and Land Systems out in New Orleans East. And I used to drive down this, kind of industrialized area, and I would see this building. And when I tell you, it looked like a hollowed out old hotel, or a motel with the drive up where the doors outside. It's not, you walk inside a building. And I would have to be at work really, really early in the morning. And by 6:30 a.m., when I would be driving down the street, I would see this building that had no real distinguishable signage or anything outside, but there would be the parking lot would be full of people. They would be just milling around in the front, and there would be a line around the corner. Didn't know what it was, wasn't my story to understand, and I would just kind of note it and whatever. Well, I worked at this place, and it was a shipbuilding company. They used to have military contracts. They built this really cool stuff for the military. And while I was at work, one of the guys there got hurt, which happens in industrial work. And I was part of a conversation where the lady who was standing next to me said, "Oh, you hurt your back? Well, all you need to do is go down the street, the place, blah, 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 and they'll give you something for your back." And I was like, you don't have to go to your doctor? You don't have to go to an emergency room? And she's like, no, like, that's exactly what it is. Like, you just go down there and you walk in the door and they'll give you a prescription, and it's for your back. It's for your back. And so I'm like, okay. It was just an anecdotal moment in my life in the late 1990s, early 2000s. It didn't go any further for me from that. Now, fast forward to the 2020s, when one of the first documentaries came out called The Pharmacist. And then I put the puzzle piece together and realized that because that documentary is all about a pharmacist in New Orleans east of Louisiana, and his experience about how all these scripts were showing up in his very small independently owned pharmacy, where this pain management clinic doctor lady was writing scripts for the what do they call it, the trifecta or the whatever. It was the Vicodin, the OxyContin, and the Xanax combo. And he noticed a real huge uptick. He couldn't keep the shit on the shelves, and so he started doing an investigation, and he was one of the ones in this area, at least, that really put the whole puzzle together of how this epidemic was exploding. In the meantime, he had a teenage son who was addicted to crack, who was going into the 9th Ward of New Orleans and getting crack, and he ultimately lost him to addiction. And so he was kind of the news breaker of that whole movement here, and got this in front of the medical boards for review and things like that in Louisiana specifically. And then we started to really hear much more on a global scale about how this was actually affecting the entire country as a whole. But that exact pain management clinic that I used to pass every day was part of that documentary. And I was like, oh, that's what that was. And you would pass that building, and any time of the day or night would be hundreds of people standing outside by their cars, smoking cigarettes, waiting to get inside to get these scripts for OxyContin and that trifecta combination. And I was like, okay, that's exactly what they were doing. It was a pill mill, and they were located in that industrial area because they knew that these men would go to these jobs and hurt themselves, and people who worked with them would tell them, just go down there and get your pills, bro.
Yeah. I've never really experienced any of that. Like, I'm not from a town that has been completely racked by, opioid addiction, but I will say, I was with my kid in my hometown, Tinley Park, Illinois, which is a very nice suburb. It's all American suburb, upper middle class, nice. And I remember we pulled into a 7-Eleven when my kid was like 12. He's 16, going to be 17 now. We pulled in 7-Eleven and there was a guy leaning against the gas station like a zombie. And I remember thinking, holy shit, if this is out in front of a 7-Eleven in Tinley Park, Illinois, wow. I mean, it is everywhere. And I walked into the 7-Eleven and I said to the guy, I go, is he all right? And the 7-Eleven guy goes, they called the police. And I'm like, okay. I go, he's going to be okay though? He's going to be fine, man. I'm like, okay. So I went about my business. But and now, you see, I've seen other examples of that, like virally and stuff. But yeah, just that one time, it really struck me that, holy fuck, this is like an entire segment of our society that are now zombies.
Well, it's transitioned into the fentanyl epidemic, because fentanyl is a street drug. They reeled in OxyContin to a little bit, but it ransacked, especially poor industrialized neighborhoods, West Virginia, all those coal miners and things.
Let's wrap her up.
Situation. 7.4 billion over 15 years.
Cool. That's nothing.
It is what it is, but
they still
I
have
don't know
yachts.
I don't know if we're going to see any more court cases about this.
No, you're absolutely right. This is probably over, considered adjudicated, move on. Whoo, the rich people dodged that bullet, and now they're still billionaires. All right. Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it. We'll probably circle back on Monday for Maddie on a Monday. We like to do that. Okay. So be prepared.
Okay, I got it.
All
I'll
right.
let you know if there's any more Bigfoots.
Yeah. Bring us up to the Shia LaBeouf and Bigfoot. You know that Maddie's always got the breaking news. Appreciate you. All right, I need another cup of coffee. I'm taking another really quick break, but this one is legitimately only going to be for 2 minutes. I'm just going to run to the other room. I'm going to refill my cup. We'll come back. I'm going to tell you about this crazy Wall Street story. Oh my God, they're sex slaves and all of that and twists and turns. Then we're going to talk about the part 2. We've got a part 2 to the dickhead guy that stole the ball from the little girl at the Cleveland Guardians game earlier in the week. Yeah, we've got a part 2 to that, and it's beautiful. So we'll see that. Whole bunch more. Quick break, please. Just allow me this. Oh, geez. Now I got to go to the bathroom, too. Okay, let's add a minute and a half to that. Okay. All right. I feel like I should probably be drinking tea. Stupid weather. It is the stupid weather. It's like you don't need to hear any of this stuff. All right, let's get rid of the back in a minute. One more time, thank you for our executive producer, Peter the Great. He's our executive producer heading into this weekend. Heads up, next week is Pledge Week. Help out the show then if you can. Let's see. Out of breath. I ran for you. That's how much I care about getting back. I ran for you. I was like, I told him it must be a minute. I don't want to lie to him. So here we are. Let's talk about this story. I love this story. Oh my God. Ugh. Hold on one more time. Are we on the right camera? Hold on. Oh, that was the right camera. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Is that right? All right. That's right. All right. I'm sorry. I thought for some reason I was looking at my dashboard and it. So there's a story on Wall Street that popped this week. And again, I was going to talk about it yesterday because it's interesting. And anytime embarrassing shit happens to like the super privileged, I always want to jump on that because that's what we do here. We're talk radio for the working man, and nothing we like more than to laugh up at the asshole class. So here, let me pull this up. Oh, why do I still have so much? Well, because again, Bigfoot. There's always room for Bigfoot, just like Jello. Sorry. I had a specific story that I wanted. Yeah, here it is. All right. So this concerns J.P. Morgan. Okay. J.P. Morgan Chase, whatever it is. I don't know. Did it used to be that? What is it now? They change every month. But this is a woman, Lorna Hajdini. And I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. Lorna Hajdini. Here, do we have pictures? Oh, wait, I want to make sure we have pictures of this. Nope. Are we sure this is okay? Does this look right? I guess it looks right. I guess that's fine. Okay. Here, I'll show you what Lorna Hajdini looks like, because we're going to need to see what these people look like, because we're going to break down their actions. It's going to be fantastic. All right. There's Lorna. Look at her. Oh, we don't need this open. All right, there we go. All right, we're looking at Lorna. Okay, so that is Lorna Hajdini. We'll call her Lorna Hajdini. Sounds Middle Eastern. But she's a blonde Middle Eastern, like that Alina. So that throws us off. Anyway, she's a big important person at J.P. Morgan. This Lorna Hajdini, big important lady. She's like 30. I don't know. She's young. We'll get into it. We'll find out. Anyway, you're looking at her there. It's kind of. Are you looking at her there? Yeah. Okay. You are. You're looking at her there. Attractive young woman, got the world by the tail. She's probably making I'll put it to you this way. You want to know what she's making? I don't know what she's making, but I bet you she got a bonus that was like $1 million. These people in the worst years. I had a friend who worked for Goldman Sachs. One Christmas, he got $150,000 bonus. I was making like 30 at the time, all year. We didn't even have a Christmas party, let alone Christmas bonuses. Same age. You got a $150,000 bonus. Well, you're buying fucking beer, dude. Anyway, Lorna Hajdini is who we're looking at here. She's 37 years old. She was accused of coercing a married banker into non-consensual and humiliating sex acts and threatening his career when he refused her advances. This according to a new lawsuit. All right, so you're looking at this one now. This is kind of an interesting juxtaposition, right? Because usually it's the guy. There was a Demi Moore movie like this, right? From like 30 years ago, where Demi Moore was like this big, powerful female executive, and she was like Harvey Weinsteining like all the boys. Well, this is what we have here. We've got this woman, power mad at 37, and one of her little Wall Street co-workers, one would assume someone who's under her, right? She starts ordering him into all kinds of humiliating sex acts. I got to be honest with you. I've seen a number of pictures of her. I don't know how humiliating it would be, and I just honestly don't know whether I would classify it as abuse. A woman and a man, a Wall Street man? This is like a Wall Street banker. I mean, you got to figure that for him, at least, in so much as what I'm conjuring when I think of the poor victimized sex slave, the Wall Street sex slave who she was being, humiliating to and all that stuff. Why didn't he just go with it? He's probably done a lot more degrading things in his life as like a Wall Street guy. She ain't horrible. This is not like some 70-something year. She ain't horrible. And if she's got some power I don't know. Look, this is maybe a difference between the male worldview and the female worldview, right? There is a power dynamic when it comes to sexual influence and sexual power. And so maybe, but anyway, I'm all for it. I think this is a go-getter of a lady, and I just applaud her. All right, let's continue on with the story. Hold on. Let me check in the chat room. Nothing. All right. Nobody biting on this story yet. All right, here it is. All right. Ignore the chat room. The chat rooms now, it's like chat rooms are now allowed to like ruin a good story by like telling the ending. I know what the ending of this is. So he's gonna go on. He's gonna twist and turns. He's told us it's a roller coaster, so we know he's going into story mode. Yes. None of this is fucking true. But never mind. I was trying to bait Adam. I don't know what I was trying to do. None of this is true. This woman is being accused of all of these horrible things by this dude, this Wall Street guy. He filed a John Doe lawsuit on Monday, and it rocked Wall Street. This woman's a very high-profile woman in the universe of Wall Street. You and I don't know who she is, but trust me, if you work on Wall Street, you know who she is. And her name and her reputation for about 3 days was completely trashed. People snickering and giggling and telling little stories. Man, did you know she was such a sexual freak? Did you hear the things she made him do? And then reporters, hearing the buzz, because this was a big story on Wall Street, reporters started to dig into this story, and reporters started to talk to people. Now, John Doe filed this suit as a victim of high leverage. That's what this is. High leverage sexual assault. Something that if the gender roles were reversed, probably happens all the time. And I'm sure there's a lot of quiet settlements made. And maybe that's what this guy was thinking. I'll just accuse a woman and I'll get the same kind of payout and hush money to go away. And he asked for like $1 million or something like that. He asked for $1 million severance. So I want to tell you some of the things, even though we now know that it's all bullshit. I want to tell you some of the things. I shouldn't put that on April. I did that willingly because it is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. A guy used what women have been doing. Well, some women, terrible women, right? Because that's unfortunately, that's humanity. All women are not righteous. We do not believe all women. I'm sorry. We listen to their stories and then we go, yeah, okay, that's believable. Or we go, no, that's bullshit. She's got 3 kids from 3 other NBA players. That's nonsense that I'm going to believe her now. You know what I mean? You got to weigh the stories. But maybe this guy was thinking he could backdoor it. And he's like, well, if they believe women, they should believe men. And nobody fucking believed him. Because once the investigators, the journalists, not investigators, but also the internal investigation there at JP Morgan, they investigated it and they went, this is absolute nonsense. First of all, okay, so why is it nonsense? I'll give you a couple of reasons. Let me read you some of the things that he said, though. Let's see here. I cherry picked some. One of the first claims in the New York suit comes from May 2024 when Rana is the last name of the victim. He was uncovered. He's no longer like nobody had any respect for the Jane Doe masking when it was this guy. They were like, no, his real name is. So his real name is like Haji Rana or something. I'll get to his real name as we read more into the story. But one of the first claims is that when Rana alleged that Hajini dropped a pen on the floor next to his desk and then rubbed his leg and squeezed his calf as she picked it up. Oh, Daddy, I seem to have dropped my pen. Like, it's that thing. That's like a fantasy that can only come from a perverted dude's mind, right? No woman would actually do that. Oh, Papa, my skirt is too tight. I couldn't possibly bend. That's not something he made that up. That's totally made up. Let's see here. The explosive court document originally filed Monday in New York court alleged that Hajini drugged Rana with everything from Rohypnol to Viagra, threatened his bonus, and stalked his Manhattan apartment, and apparently threatened his wife, who she called fish face or something, which is weird. I don't have the exact quote. I didn't cherry pick that quote. But in one of the pieces in the lawsuit filed, this guy said that this woman that he worked with, he said that she said that his wife was an ugly fish-faced something, which is right there. It's in the court documents. Now, all of those things that he filed on Monday have turned out to be bullshit. So this guy conjured up that insult for his own wife, which I'm sure his own wife is like, so you think I'm fish-faced? And he's like, no, she said that. And then his wife is like, no, you said that she didn't. It's been proven that she didn't say any of this, that you made it all up. They found your Google Drive. I don't know that they did, but something like that. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. The explosive court documents originally filed Monday in New York court state that when Hajini drugged Rana with Rohypnol to Viagra, threatened his bonus to extort sex, and stalked his Manhattan apartment. Okay, so during the internal investigation that J.P. Morgan did, the very first thing that they came to in their investigation of this dynamic in the office was that this woman, Hajini, had absolutely zero power over his bonus. She was superior to him in no way. They were like equals. They worked in different departments. They didn't even have like daily interactions. That's like the first thing. And then apparently they interviewed everybody at JP Morgan. They're like, you see anything? You see anything? And everybody's like, no, that guy's fucking weird. Okay. He's a weirdo. And there's no way that she would want to have sex with him because she's probably a Wall Street bombshell. You know what I mean? She's one of them power chicks. You ever seen Billions? Now, she might do it for the power fetish, right? To humiliate him or whatever. But he's claiming that they actually were forced into having sex and that she desired him and all of these things and that she fell in love with him and she's stalking him. And that's why, she's hanging out around his apartment. All of that was proven to be not true. Now, I can give you any number of examples that the investigators found. But here, let me just show you the number one reason that most people are now like, release that guy's name. That guy is lying. Because here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man. Where is it? Yeah. This is the man who claims that he was made a sex slave. Ooh, any second now. And everything's taking so long. There he is. Look at him. Look at that foxy devil. Yeah, this clown. So this is the guy. This is the dude who says that she's not even his boss, though, is what they found out. They're like, she couldn't have fired you. And you know that. You guys were like, all right, so let me give you today's story. This one comes to us from the New York Post. They've been really good on all the stupid stories. If it is a stupid story that you should feel guilty about knowing way too much, the New York Post is probably behind it. That's been my life lesson. So the guy's name is Shirayu Rana. That's who we're looking at there. That's the guy who this. Sorry, guys, I'm having some issues here with the computer. It's going slow again. All right, there he is. He looks like a Simpsons character. And not a necessarily ethnic Simpsons character. I mean, he is exaggerated. Okay, well, we got no picture now? Screen went black? All right, it's just going to be black for a while. It'll come back on its own. I don't know why it's doing this. Okay. All right. Something's jacked up about the computer right now, man. I'm sorry. This is really irritating me because I want to tell you the story. I don't have too many windows open. That's not a problem. All right. Maybe it seems to be working a little better. All right. The gentleman that we're looking at here, this is the guy who filed under John Doe thinking that he would enjoy the same luxuries that women get when nobody would report the name of a Jane Doe. This was a woman. There wouldn't be a whole bunch of newspaper articles putting her picture out there. This hasn't been adjudicated yet. He's still making these claims. And the big company has come to the decision that their high-powered executive did nothing wrong. And everybody's running with that side because the gender is flipped. But if this honestly was a man and a woman, we wouldn't be so free to make fun of this clown because it's an obvious fucking lie. Wall Street financier, and that's who we're looking at here, Shirayu Rana, the anonymous John Doe who filed a sensational and fiercely disputed sexual harassment lawsuit against the J.P. Morgan Chase executive, has left his new investment firm, Briegel Sagemount. Senior company sources have told the New York Post. The 35-year-old principal's biography remained on the Gene Yu-led firm's website. See, apparently Gene Yu's a guy that we should know, but we're not Wall Street people. So apparently they're saying that he doesn't even work at this new place, that he says that he works at. He doesn't work here anymore, but his name is still on the website. The Post has exclusively unmasked Rana with allies of high-flying, leveraged fiance. Okay, wait, I can't see. It's Wall Street words. I have difficulty with Wall Street words. I hate this world. On May Day, workers of the world unite. The Post exclusively unmasked Rana on Thursday evening with allies of high-flying leveraged finance expert Hajani branding his claims, quote, a complete and total fabrication. Look at him. Ain't nobody trying to bang him. Ain't nobody like, you're so hot, I'm going to... This newspaper, the Post, approached Briegel Sagemount for comment before it published the scoop revealing the identity of John Doe. Hours later, human resources executives at his firm sent a statement saying that Rana was, in fact, no longer with the firm. Cryo Rana was employed by Briegel. None of this matters. We don't care. Here, look at this. Look what I can show you, though. All right, so look at her. Yeah, there she is. She's cute, right? Sorry, I wanted to make sure we stopped on this one. She's cute. Hold on. Nobody's believing that guy is. All right, let's stop on her. Shira Rana was I don't care. Rana's email account with the company, and nobody cares. Believe it or not, I pre-read all this. All right. He's deleting his digital footprints. We got that. The explosive court document he originally filed on Monday in New York State court and then retracted for corrections alleged that Hajini, the woman we're looking at here, the little cutie, she's probably a total C word, but, you know, she looks like she presents cute. His document alleged that Hajini drugged him with Rohypnol and Viagra, threatened his bonus to extort sex, and stalked his Manhattan apartment and family. But the viral allegations are unraveling almost as quickly as they surfaced. The Post has confirmed that the pair reported to two different managing directors, meaning that Hajini had no way of influencing his annual compensation. Rana's lawsuit sought unspecified damages for his lost earnings, emotional distress, and alleged reputational harm. An internal J.P. Morgan investigation that reviewed emails, phone records, and witness statements found no evidence to support the claims made by John Doe. See, he made all of these claims and said she said all these things to him and sent texts and stuff, but then he was unable to actually produce any texts or any kind of records of phone calls between the two of them. They barely knew each other. He just, I think what's happening here is he may have just filed this suit to humiliate her, thinking that there would be no repercussions for him. Well, there should be. But again, this goes back to what we've been talking about for months now. The Trump administration has normalized the idea of just filing bullshit suits, not worrying about losing, because it's all about the headlines they create in the moment. The media is not responsible enough to be trusted to circle back and tell us that it was bullshit. But they will celebrate and amplify the initial charge, because that forces dopamine to go off in our heads, and we grab the headlines and we read them. It's all about us, ultimately. Let's see here. One source told the Post that Rana had unsuccessfully tried to negotiate a payout from JP Morgan that ran into the millions. Hajini's legal team was even blunter. They said, Lorna categorically denies the allegation. She never engaged in any inappropriate conduct with this individual of any kind and has never even been to the location where the alleged sexual assault supposedly took place. Yeah, he said he assaulted her at this hotel. Friends of the executive she's described as a rising star at the bank, say the ordeal has been devastating. He has tarnished her with a complete fabrication, allies told the Post on Thursday. Rana has enjoyed something of a journeyman career through some of the most prestigious finance shops on Wall Street. A Rutgers grad and former college basketball player. What? I don't know. That picture makes him look like a Simpsons character. He doesn't look fuckable, right? But she's really cute. Like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, if she's going to have a boy toy, it's going to be like a bartender at some trendy Soho club. And he's going to have a six-pack and abs. He's not going to look like a weird ethnic Simpsons character. All right, there you have it. Anyway, apparently she didn't do anything wrong. Although I do want to say that this doesn't remove the very high suspicion that I have that she is probably in every other regard a total C word. All right, let's see. What else do we want to talk about here? My computer's being weird. This is not going to be good for me and Rob later today. So, you see how it's skipping? It's like dragging a little bit, the video. Why? I have a great connection. I have a full internet connection. What's going on in the chat room? I saw the Barney mention disclosure. What are you talking about? I love disclosure. Did somebody see disclosure? I don't push that shit on people, but I love that shit. All right. Here, let's move on. What else do we want to do? Epstein left a suicide note. That's what they're saying. They're saying that no, he left a suicide note. Now, apparently he had a failed suicide attempt prior to the one that was successful. At least that's how it's being set up and presented to us. And this suicide note is supposedly related to the attempt where he wasn't successful, to the attempt where he survived. So I don't know. I don't care. I got to be honest. I didn't think it was possible, but I'm off the Epstein thing. I've just kind of accepted that as a nation, we're just going to turn a blind eye to the high-level pedophile network that, has been exposed. So, okay, that's just a thing. Normalized. Let's see. What else do we have here? How about this? Listen to this. This is something that'll get your cockles up heading into the weekend as we all struggle with gas prices that here in Chicago are about to go over $5 a gallon. That's right. Let's hear from the... Sorry, it was my bad. I did it. That was me. All right, let's hear from the guy who runs Starbucks. This is not the old Howard Schultz guy. Isn't that the guy who ran Starbucks? Now this is a new guy. The new guy who runs Starbucks. He was on some interview show. Let's watch him. He's going to talk. He's justifying a $9 cup of coffee at Starbucks.
In some cases,
let's listen to how he justifies that for the rest of us. $9 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Is a $9 experience does feel like you're splurging. And then what that means is we have to make it worthwhile. right?
We've heard so much this year about the K-shaped economy, fortunes for some Americans very different than for others. Is that not really something that's coming up in your sales?
You know, we're not seeing that in our business. What we're seeing is people, you know, they want to have a special experience. And regardless of what your income level is, in some cases, you know, a $9 experience does feel like you're splurging. And then what that means is we have to make it worthwhile.
Okay, so how are you going to make this fucking worthwhile to me? How are you going to justify a $9 coffee? This is nonsense. Do you know what Starbucks is? Let me tell you something interesting about where I am right now. I'm in Chicago. When my son was here over the winter, we were driving to this place over by White Sox Park. It's a fan store that has really cool like fan gear and stuff, and one of a kind T-shirts and jerseys and all. You know what I mean? The ones near the stadiums always have the cool stuff. So we're driving through the neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago, and he keeps going, "How many fucking donuts do you people eat?" Yeah, my kid, he talks like that. And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Do you notice there's a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner?" And I go, "You know, there is one. There's a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner in Chicago. Absolutely true. But no, I've never really noticed that before. I've never really noticed that it's a thing. It's almost like a stop sign being on every corner, or there being a 7-Eleven in every neighborhood, right? I didn't really think about it. So I did a little research, and I was like, why is that? Seriously, is there a higher concentration of Dunkin' Donuts in the Chicago area than anywhere else in the country? Or is this just, you know, a North versus South thing? Because I'd come from Texas and my son is from Texas, and Dunkin' Donuts are rare. They're rare. There's like one every 4 suburbs. They got these not weird, probably good, but no consistency to the donut game in Dallas. Every strip mall's got like some mom and pop donut shop, and you don't know, is it going to be airy and light, or are you stuck with a neighborhood cake donut? I was raised on the Dunkin' Donuts or Winchell's. Winchell's is the second. Winchell's is the Pepsi to Chicago's Dunkin' Donuts. Anyway, why is there a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner in Chicago? It's not about donuts. It's about coffee. The number one coffee in the Chicago area is Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And you think, well, Dunkin' Donuts ain't coffee. It's literally in the name. Dunkin' Donuts was the original Starbucks. Dunkin' Donuts. It's not, the name isn't Dunkin'. It's not a family name. You are dunking donuts in your coffee. You buy the coffee and the donuts. It's Dunkin' Donuts. It has always been a coffee place. It's just that we don't really think about it that way. So in Chicago, we have Dunkin' Donuts on every corner, and not because of donuts, although they do serve donuts, but their number one thing that they move out of these locations is coffee, because what Chicago doesn't have is a whole bunch of $9 Starbucks. Because we're like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? Dunkin' Donuts coffee is just as fucking good. And we got this guy. You know why it's a $9 cup of coffee? Do you know why Dunkin' Donuts can serve a $1 cup of coffee and Starbucks can't? Because Starbucks doesn't want the pores. Starbucks doesn't want people coming to their places. They are an elite brand that has grown because everyone in America wants to pretend that we're elite. And because we're still trying to pretend that we're elite, there are 22-year-old waitresses sucking back $5 cups of coffee 6 times a day. It's absurd.
Right. And then in other cases, people believe, well, this is a really affordable premium experience, because they're saying like, well, it's less than
premium coffee drinking experience. Are you fucking kidding me? Most of us drink it in our car in traffic.
$10 and I get a really premium experience. So regardless of where you're stationed in those income cohorts, we want to make that experience worth your while. And what we know is what's definitely...
They want poor people, and you can't fucking use the bathroom unless you're buying coffee. No, that bathroom is not for you. How's this for a premium fucking experience? A bum is pissing in the corner.
Something that drives that value is to be able to have a great seat.
I hate the Starbucksification of America. I'm sorry. And it ain't just Starbucks. It's just everything that is now like some kind of a, this brand is for the poors and this brand is for women who do yoga at 2 p.m, whose husbands are leverage attorneys. we're going to couch our absurd prices that are designed specifically to keep out the pores by saying we're offering a premium experience. Okay, thank you. Once again, premium experience. Is the bum pee? Are the bums queering off in the broom closet part of the premium experience, Starbucks? I just saw bum dick. What's going on? All right. $9. Are you kidding me? All right, here's a nice story. This is a nice story. Let's go back to having a little bit of faith in this world that we live in, okay? Here's a nice story. Earlier in the week, I told you about a viral video from a baseball game. Cleveland Guardians home game. We watched the viral video, and maybe we'll see it again. I don't know. I want to play you part 2. The viral video was of an idiot, a guy, a big dumb and emotionally immature, is totally self-unaware, isn't plugged into the moment and how the moment is being perceived. Just a fucking easy button guy, just going through life programmed and easy button. I'm at the game. I want a ball. I'm at the game. If a ball comes, it's the biggest and most important thing in this moment, getting the ball. So the ball is hit to the outfield, and asshole, if you remember, he fumbled it. It hit right to him, and he's like, ah! And he puts his hands out like this. He's in center field, and he goes, ah! And the ball bounces right in his hands, shoots out of his hands, ricochets into a little girl, America's favorite. Protect her. We don't want her on any milk carton. She's an adorable little girl, probably at one of the first. Well, she's like 9 or whatever. So yeah, it is. It's probably one of the first games she's ever been to. And my God, she gets a ball, and the ball bounces out of, fumble ass's hands and bounces right to her. And she jumps off mom's lap to bend down to pick up the ball because, she's 2 foot tall. And all of a sudden, asshole guy, he comes running, and he takes the ball out of the little girl's hand, and then he sits down, and he's like, I got the ball. I won the ball war. Meanwhile, little girl's on her mom's lap. She's crying. TV showing both of these angles. We're hearing the commentators of the game going, that guy's an asshole. Let's put him in jail. Lock him up. Right? It was a thing. And then apparently in Cleveland, because, I would have, if I was on the radio, I'd be like, let's get that guy. Right? And they did. And they ruined that guy's life because we're all just, spontaneous jerk-offs. We ruined his life. And, a couple of days later, we have this story. Let's watch this story. This is, I guess, local Cleveland news. All right, here we go. We're going to meet this guy. And we're all going to feel like shit for being the judgmental jerk-offs that we were. Because we're all flawed in some way. All right, here, let's see if we can watch this. Oh, do we have both of them? Actually, yeah. Okay, so we can show you both. Very good. That's what we'll do here. We'll show you the first one. All right, so this is the actual video. Once again, coming to us from John Boy Media, the absolute finest baseball site. All right, here you go. Here's the home run. This is how this whole story began. I'll give you a little bit of sound. Make it big. That's what she said. Here we go.
Hit pretty well to left. And gone.
All right, see him? He fumbled it. That's a live ball. Boom. See right there. Stupid ass. He bobbled it.
And gone.
And look, goes right to the little girl and her mom. And look, the little girl is jumping off mom's leg. She's like, oh, mommy, we're getting a ball. Right? No. Because he's a man and he takes it from her, and now he's proud.
His 4th home run of the year. No, he's not going to steal that.
Yeah, that can't happen.
And then he was proud of it.
Look at the little girl. She's got her glasses on. She's like, I'll be okay. Mom's like, it's okay. That was exciting, right? And she's like, yeah. Meanwhile, mom's going, what a fucking asshole. What a jerk off.
That ball back. Come on.
That can't happen.
And then he was proud of it. Give that ball back. Come on.
I wonder if they had meatloaf tonight.
Look at him, and he's texting. Like, he's completely unaware. He's like, I just got a ball. Beat a kid for it. Totally self-unaware. Living in the moment. In the moment, the ball's coming. I'm going to get it. You're not thinking about anything else. That's emotionally immature. Like I said, man, I go to these games and I think, okay, there ain't cute little kids around me. There ain't cute little kids because I'll probably have a little bit of an advantage when it comes. I'll probably stop it or maybe top tap, Who am I giving this ball? Actually, let's be honest. You look around for kids to see if you have to give the ball to somebody. Like if there's a kid right next to you and you're a grown-up who catches the ball, you got to give the ball to the kid next to you. Doesn't matter if it's a rando kid. You got to do it. But if there's no kids within like a certain perimeter, I think you're allowed to catch it. You're not allowed to compete with a kid. As soon as you notice that, oh, here it comes. As soon as you notice that there are a bunch of other kids, you got to back off. Again, maybe you use your reach advantage to break its speed or something, or try to catch it. But then, you don't catch it for real if you're surrounded by you drop it. You're like, I'll get it. And you let the kids have it. Or if you truly are a phony, you catch it, you hold it up, and then you present it to the children because you are aware that the cameras are on you and you want to be the good guy. I don't know. There's many different ways you can play it. All we know for sure is that this clown show played them all incorrectly. Here we go one more time.
Hit pretty well to left. And gone. Daniel Schneemann. His 4th home run of the year. No, he's not going to steal that.
Yeah, that can't happen.
And then he was proud of it. Give that ball back.
Also, is this dork at a baseball game by himself? Now, I love baseball. I'm Johnny Baseball. I ain't going to a game by myself. When I don't have anybody to go to the game with, that's when I watch the game on TV. Is this guy a grown man with a Mumford & Son beard and decked out head to toe in his favorite team going to baseball games by himself? I'm not really judging, but I'm judging. That tells me a lot about this guy. That he doesn't run with a pack of boys, that he doesn't have a strong social circle, that maybe there's some weird decisions he's made that have caused people to step away. He's at a baseball game by himself. I'll go to a restaurant by myself. I think that's kind of cool. I kind of think that's something baller about being a grown man in a restaurant by himself. Especially if you get somebody, if you know somebody there and they stop by the table and say, hi, you look important. As a matter of fact, I might start going to restaurants by myself and then in my bag having one of those 1970s red phones, and I'll just put the phone on the table and I'll sit there by myself and people think I'm important. I'm like, look at me with the phone plugged into nothing. All right. So that's the start of it. Now we've got a part 2 to this story, and also comes to us from John Boy. I guess Cleveland local media got involved in this whole story. They brought the guy on. Let's watch the story. Here we go.
This all kind of just happened in the heat of the moment.
Tell us your side of the story. How did it unfold?
First of all, I want to just put out an apology and just say I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the family. I'm sorry to the parents, the little girl, her brother. I'm so utterly sorry for everything that's transpired. Like you said, it was a heat of the moment thing. I made a really bad decision, a lot of bad decisions, and I'm paying for it online. And I understand the backlash. I understand everything that everyone has said to me, but there was no malintent, and I did give it back to her, but I didn't do it in a timely fashion. And if I could do it all over again, I would have just grabbed it, given it to her, and been done with it.
Let's move on. That's what else can we expect? That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Thank you. Yeah, you were an asshole in the moment. Okay. You were an asshole. We're going to work on that in the future, hopefully. It's the best we can hope for with one another. Leave him alone. Leave him alone now. He made a mistake. He's like, God, I made that mistake. I can't believe it. My mom, she used to fucking smoke and drink the whole time I was a kid. Maybe it's like that. We don't know. He made a mistake. He's a dumb fuck. Okay, but we move on. We have dumb fucks in our life all the time. There is no Siberia for these people. And that was nice. That's the way it's done. There was no, but that ball is worth. There was none of that. None of this doubling down on it. And I do it again. None of that. Just a human being going, yeah, man, we are complicated messes. And sometimes in the moment we make the wrong choice. And I did that. Man, am I paying for it? And I really am sorry, that little girl. That was perfect. That was perfect. But it gets better. It gets better. Watch this. Watch this.
We have some sound from her, and she wants to say something to you right now.
Hi, Max. Thanks for giving us the ball back. We forgive you for it. We know the internet has been going wild over this. We hope they forgive you.
I appreciate that from Evelyn. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can we just one more time with this little girl? That's whatever she says. Whatever she says. Here, as Chicago Bear fans, we have this thing, this mantra. No matter what happens, our mantra as Chicago Bears fans is "In Ben We Trust." An ode to our head coach, who just whatever he wants to do, we're just going to trust him. We've obviously not been doing this right for decades. He seems to know. In Ben we trust. In this little girl we trust. In this little girl, whatever she says, don't question it. She's like, leave him alone. She's saying hi to him. Adam in the chat room, I saw him point out that the Guardians themselves got right on it. Their PR director obviously saw this happening and sent people down, and she got hooked up, and that's great. This was a terrible example of an idiot human being who in the moment made a stupid mistake. It's not a mortal sin, more venal, right? Like he didn't throw her over the balcony trying to get the ball. He just is an asshole. He had a bad moment and he made a poor choice. And she's telling us to be nice. Look at her. Look at that little girl. I mean, dude, seriously, like what if she was fuddly? Like there's a lot of fuddly kids out there, but she's like out of central casting. She's like a Disney girl. She's like a little Disney kid. She's so cute. And he was mean to her. And any dad, in America is going to be like, fuck this guy.
And she wants to say something to you right now.
Hi, Max. Thanks for giving us the ball back. We forgive you for it. We know the internet has been going wild over this. We hope they forgive you.
I appreciate that from Evelyn. Thank you so much for saying that. And thank you to their whole family. That means a lot to me.
Okay, so this guy is a weird, awkward, doesn't have a girlfriend, probably has a decent job, but maybe still lives at home, maybe lives in a funky apartment by himself. He doesn't have a great life. He is representative of a very large portion of American men, of which I think I might be part of. I don't know, except I've got a little bit more personality, I think, than a lot of these guys. I like to think I could get laid regularly if I tried. He's got some awkwardness to him. But he does. He represents, a kind of American male that, is just completely slipped through. We don't have a category for him. And I describe him as slightly awkward because he's presenting as slightly awkward, but I guess that's not a prerequisite for men finding themselves in this state. So let's just leave him alone, man. Let's just leave him alone.
It's been a rough 24 hours, 36 hours. A lot of people have said a lot of really mean things. I've handled it. I've tried to block it out and get away from it.
Yeah. Think about some of the things that people online have said about this dude that he has read. He's just a normal guy who already suffered from really poor self-esteem, I imagine. He's going to baseball games by himself, so he's not confident. So for the last 36 hours, he's been reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of posts about he's fat, he's ugly, he's stupid, he's awkward, he's a retard. Oh my God, this poor guy. This poor guy.
But, people find a way to say stuff and try to get in contact with me. And, I'm just trying to do good by myself and my business. And I just,
did they out his business? All right, that's troubling. You gotta rebrand, pal. I'm sorry. You gotta rebrand. Start a whole new business.
People in the city, and people here in Cleveland and Guardians fans and everybody can, forgive me, give me a second chance, personally, with my business, stuff like that. That's all I can ask for, All
right, there he is. All right, look, it's what he's asking for, but more importantly, it's what she's asking for, okay? It's what the little girl, asked us all to do. If there's one group of people who we know are historically forgiving, it is baseball fans. Baseball fans always forgive. Steve Bartman in Chicago had to move his entire city, or he had to move to an entirely new city. Baseball fans are the worst. They're the worst. All right, Mikey D in the chat room. Mikey D says, I would give it to the kid. I'm a grown-up, so really doesn't mean shit to me. Yeah, you don't need a ball. There is maybe, I gotta go here. There is maybe a highly select exception that proves the rule. But if any ball head, give it to the kid. That's the rule. But every rule has an exception, and I think a home run ball that is going to be obviously worth millions, right? Like the record-setting career home run ball that you can immediately turn around and put on eBay and become a millionaire. I think those kinds of balls, and those balls are very select. They're not, and sometimes those balls aren't even known in the moment, but, you know, the record-setting balls, the McGuire ball, the Sosa ball, the Bonds ball, you know, these kinds of things. I think that's the exception to the rule. I think at that point, if you are in a place in a baseball stadium, that stadium's going to be packed, because if it's possible that there's a record-setting home run ball to be hit in that game, it's going to sell out. And I think all the people who are in that area where home run balls can go, just keep your kids, you know, because it's going to be a lot of grown-ass men trying to become millionaires. There'll be a bunch of grown-ass men trying to put their kids through college with a home run ball off the bat of Kyle Schwarber or whatever. I don't know. That's maybe the only exception. If the ball itself is worth more than my house, then maybe I don't have to give it to the kid. That's the only exception. And then, you know, at the end of that one, you're just going to have enough money to, you know, just go move. You can just, doesn't matter if everybody there thinks you're an asshole. Just move to Palm Beach. Why not? All right, let me show you one more thing here. Actually, do we have it? How much more do we have? Do we have it? Nah, we don't have much more. I'm not going to bother you. We got some videos we can watch. All right, let me show you this one. This is really cool. So I have a son. And hold on, let me find it. All right, here we go. So I have a son. He's a teenager, and I'm constantly, and I don't know if this is just me. I imagine it's not. I think all parents do. Certainly all dads. I think I am much cooler in real life than how my son sees me. And although I like to say that I've had years and years of ego therapy and all that, it's still, I acknowledge, it bothers me. To the extent that I've done things when out with my son that are just humiliating, but I just need him. I'll give you an example. I've told this one a couple of times. So I was at like the grocery store and I was ordering some deli meat, and I ordered like some corned beef, and the guy that was cutting the deli meat recognized me from my voice. He's like, "Oh, hey, you know, you sound like," you know, he did that. And that's always very fun. As soon as he said it, I go, hold on. And I went and I grabbed my kid. And I'm like, "Mason, come here. Hey, get over here." And he's like, "What?" And then I looked at the guy and I go, "Continue." And the guy's like, I used to listen to you every day. And then I look at my kid and he's not paying attention. I'm like, fuck. Because my kid just thinks I'm an overweight, bald, authoritarian type who's funny and, you know, fun to hang out with, but he ain't taking any cool advice from me because look at me. Look at my dad. So, you know, I know that a lot of this is in my head, but that's why, you know, I have some cool friends, you know, from time to time I've been like, look who I'm texting, right? I do some of that stuff. Look who just texted me. Yeah. He's like, I don't know who that is. And then it's like a guy that was in a band that had like a couple hits. And he's like, I don't know who that is, Dad. I'm like, he's a rock star. Your dad is texting with rock stars. He doesn't care. Brings us to this video. This video is so awesome. And just as a dad, as a dad who struggles with this whole thing, wanting my son to think that I'm cool, as a dad, this video just makes me so happy. So this is a kid who is the son of somebody famous. And I wonder, like, even if you are, and by the way, this kid's okay, it's Mike D from the Beastie Boys. So Mike D from the Beastie Boys, who is, it's not even a debate. He's totally cool. He's in the Beasties. Are you insane? They have never not been cool. They were so fucking weird and clowny that they instantly became the coolest thing. Ironically cool with their videos and whatever. The Beastie Boys are undeniably cool. And Mike D has a teenager who's in a band. And the teenager, the band plays at little local bars and stuff like that. So apparently they played this bar in their local neighborhood there, wherever they live. It was Mike D's son's band playing. And Mike D of the Beastie Boys made a special appearance and came up on stage and performed with his son's band. And it's just like, okay, so Mike D's kid obviously knows that Mike D is cool because he asked him, like, if Mike D's kid didn't think Mike D was cool, Mike D's kid would be like, no, Dad. Because someone in the band probably went, we should get your dad to come up and we should do a Beasties song. And if the kid didn't think his dad was cool and was embarrassed by his dad, he'd be like, no, we aren't doing that. I mean, we could do a Beasties cover, but no, not Dad. But the kid was obviously like, yeah, well, that'd be awesome. My dad's fucking badass. So watch this. This is so much fun. This is Mike D performing with his teenage son's band. Actually, I don't even think he's a teenager. I think he's like 20, I don't know, whatever it is. But it's still pretty cool and it's pretty fun. And if you're a dad, you know what this is. This is justification that your son thinks you're cool. Here we go. This dude is 60 or somewhere close to 60, maybe even over 60. How is this 60 years old in 2026? 60 years old used to be, we don't have much time left. We're going to have to say goodbye to your uncle. You should go spend time with your uncle. He's turning 60. He's not going to be around much longer. That was 60 when I was little. First of all, this band is awesome. This is just that they can pull this off. This is just flat out a good cover. All right, there you have it. That's a victory for dads everywhere. Mike D being accepted by his son and his son's friends as being undeniably cool. Can't all have a dad in the Beastie Boys. And, I even bet they're like Snoop Dogg's kid. Snoop Dogg's kid doesn't think Snoop Dogg's cool. Snoop Dogg's kid's like, oh, God, Dad, why does everything smell like weed? Right? Snoop Dogg's kid hates that. Let's see here. Are we debating the home run situation? Because I told you that there is, I think, one reasonable or logical or acceptable explanation or excuse for stealing a ball from a childhood baseball game. That is, if it's a money ball, if it is a home run ball of some significance, some home run ball that you can then put on eBay, some home run ball that the player himself might want back and might be willing to make a trade, right? There are exceptions. So Barney says that if it's a big home run ball, I think he's agreeing with me here. Barney says if it's a big home run ball, but not a foul ball. Yeah, foul. No. Well, look, if you're sitting in foul territory. If you're sitting in foul territory, then it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's because you're getting a foul ball. But if you are between the poles in the outfield, and you know that if a ball comes, it ain't going to be foul. It's going to be fair, and it's going to be a home run if it's coming to you. You have to stay frosty and know what the significance of the home run is. And you'll know. Trust me, you'll know. You'll be like, why are there 36,000 people here for a late game on a Tuesday night in May? Well, because he's going for his 500th home run. That's why. Stuff like that. Mike says, yes, that type of ball is a different situation probably. It definitely is. It absolutely is. And I think at that point, it's on the parents. Because at that point, somebody who's trying to get a ball that's worth something, they can look at the kids there like, no, you can't use them as bait. Like I would bring a little kid, right? If it's an important ball, I would bring a little kid trying to play that, hey, give it to my son. And then, kid, you're going to give it to me, and dad's going to flip it, and we're buying jet skis. So I wouldn't trust that situation. I'm like, what? It's a Tuesday game in May. 36,000 people here. We all know why we're all here. It's because it's a game. It's a home run ball game. Why are you bringing your kid and thinking that kid can fight for this home run ball? Don't you understand? And by the way, at that point, those areas are filled with essentially seat fillers, just dudes who are there to do battle for the ball. Many of them paid by other people. You want to go to the game? Yeah. Fucking throw elbows if the ball comes to you. Because we'll split it 50-50 if you get that ball. But again, anytime you're in foul territory, you look for the kid to give the ball to, right? Okay. Good. What else do we have here? Kentucky Derby's on Saturday. The Kentucky Derby's on Saturday. Well, should we go through the names? Should we see which one feels good to us? Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses. I like the Kentucky Derby. Here's why. In fact, I love the Kentucky Derby because it's a sport made for social media. Sure, if you want, you can spend like 7 hours on Saturday watching the ABC coverage of the Kentucky Derby, or you can just wait till like 7, 8 o'clock at night when you'll see the full race in nice viral video form. It's like a minute and a half. It's you can watch the whole event for a minute and a half. I don't need the 6-hour ramp up of a bunch of rich assholes wearing funky, crazy hats. I don't need that. But the horse race itself, it is, for lack of a better term, quite a horse race. I mean, it is exciting. It is, what do they call it? The most exciting 2 minutes in sports? I agree. It is. And the way you can make it fun is because none of us know anything about horse racing. Horse racing is for degenerates and, degenerates. Horse racing is for degenerates and their backers. That's what horse racing is. But it is fun to watch at the highest level, and it is fun to watch when it's something significant like the Kentucky Derby. So let's go through the names. We don't know dick about dick. I'll give you this. Well, maybe you do. I shouldn't speak for you. I don't know dick about dick as far as these horses go. I do know this. I can give you this little bit of information. Renegade is the favorite. Renegade is like, nobody's beating Renegade. Which, not even knowing that information, that would have been my pick, because you name your racehorse after a baller stick song. That's one of my son's football songs that he used to wear back when he had a football career. Or he used to listen to some pump-up songs on his headphones. Styx Renegade. Styx Renegade was one of them. Oh, mama, I'm in fear. Oh, my love. That was one of his hype up songs. So I would have gone for that horse, being the Styx truther that I am. I would have gone for Renegade. Renegade was the favorite, as it turns out. But Renegade had a bit of drama, and he's no longer the favorite. I mean, I think he's maybe still the favorite, but he's on the rail. He's at post 1. Now, I don't know much about horse racing. I know a little. I have some friends who are involved in horse racing. Again, I have plenty of degenerate fans or friends. Post 1 is a terrible, terrible post. You're on the rail. And if you're a horse, apparently, like Renegade, who is the favorite to win, you don't want to be on the rail. So, and by the way, these posts are all drawn by lottery. So the best horse, the one that's expected to win, drew an absolutely terrible, cursed position. Now, horses do win from the rail, but they typically don't start on the rail. They move to the rail as the other horses move away from the rail, which causes an alley. That's how you see horses charging up the rail. But apparently it's different when the horse starts on the rail. And that's where Renegade, your favorite, is. So Renegade, cool name. Let's go through some of the other names, okay? Here's the field. There's 20 of them. Renegade is in post 1. Post position 2 is Albus. Dumb name. Albus. I don't even know what that is. Post position 3 is Intrepido. Intrepido. I don't like it. Don't know what that is. That's a dumb name. Number 4, post 4, Litmus Test. All right. I could, but not really. But it's okay. It's a little bit more Litmus Test. That's he's trained by Bob Baffert, who's like one of the all-timers. 30-1. 30-1 for Litmus Test. How about number 5, Commandment? Boy, oh boy. Now that strikes me as a Triple Crown horse name, doesn't it? Commandment. Like, I'm surprised that there hasn't already been a legendary horse named Commandment. That's a pretty badass name for a horse. Okay, so I might drop a little something on Commandment, which is coming out of the 5-hole, 6-1. It's the morning odds. Number 6, Dannon Bourbon. Dannon Bourbon in the 6th slot. That's okay. Whatever. I don't like that one. Number 7. So Happy. Come on. People are going to put, you know what? The Optimists, they're all going to put money on So Happy. That's a good name. That's a clever name. You're going to pick up money by being optimist. So Happy. You know, the people who don't know dick about horse racing, you know, the bimbo that the degenerate dragged to the track, she's going to be like, I want to put money on So Happy. Yeah, that's what's going on. So good name. Good name. So Happy. Number 8. Okay, this is, I know I said Commandment is badass, but number 8, this one I think is one of my favorites. I would, just on name alone, I like this name. Number 8, the Puma. That ain't a Puma, that's a horse. But he's naming it the Puma, and that's kind of cool. The Puma. The Puma in slot 8, he's going off at 10-1. How about number 9, Wonder Dean? Wonder Dean, that's fine. Run-of-the-mill horse racing name. Wonder Dean does nothing for me. Number 10, the 10 slot. Okay, kind of like it. Number 10, Incredibolt. Incredibolt. It's like lightning bolt and incredible. It's like incredible lightning bolt. Incredibolt. That's clever. I like Incredibolt. I still like the Puma, Commandment, and Renegade. They're still my 3 favorite, but that's a pretty good one. Incredibolt. How about number 9 or number 11 here? Number 11 in the Kentucky Derby field, going off at 8-1. Chief Wallaby. All right, that's another one of those just kind of standard horse racing names. Chief Wallaby doesn't really move me. Number 12, Potente. Don't like it. Don't like it for this reason. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. And don't get all fancy with me with your stupid horse racing names. Am I supposed to put like a French accent on it? Screw you. Nobody cares about Potente. How about number 13? Number 13 is one that I heard somebody go, well, you got to look out for. Number 13 is Emerging Market. Emerging Market. That's a good horse racing name. Emerging Market. Number 14, Pavlovian. That's a good one. I like Pavlovian. The bell rings, he runs. I like that. Gates open, he runs. Pavlovian. That's a good one. Pavlovian at 14. I'm moving Pavlovian into Incredibolt, the Puma, Commandment, and Renegade as the top names. All right. Number 15, 6-speed. Now, I believe the 15 slot is what's known as the cursed slot. It's either 15 or 17. I'm not sure. Why is it called the curse slot? Because either 15 or 17 has never had a horse win the Kentucky Derby from that slot. In the 6,382 years that we've been running the Kentucky Derby, not a single horse has won, again, out of the 15 or the 17. Not sure. This could be bad news for 6-speed going off at 50-1 from the 15 slot. Number 16 tomorrow, Further Ado. 16. Don't like it. Number 17, Golden Tempo. That's another like just generic horse name. Number 18, 50-1 in the 18 slot. Great White. My. Great White. Once bitten, twice shy. Number 19. Again, another one that's hard to pronounce it. I don't know how to say it, so screw you. Number 19 is O'Kelly. It's a big, it's capital O, so it's a proper name. Capital O. Well, I guess it is it's a horse's name, so it would be capital. I'm trying to break it down like a moron, thinking I'm finding clues. Well, it's a capital. Well, it's a horse's name. Capital OCELLI. OCELLI. O'Kelly? Okay, I don't know. That's number 19. We're going to round out the field, the 20th horse, Robusta. That's a good one, too. Hold on, guys. Jesus, that was a good riff, too. How long was the audio out, for fuck's sake? And I didn't even notice it. No, all right, commandment. All right, so I'm back. I guess I didn't lose the sound for that long. Okay, very good. I apologize. Don't know why that happened. It's Restream. It's why I really just want to go over to YouTube. I don't know if these problems will happen on YouTube, but certainly Restream presents us with some challenges. And I'm not familiar enough with all the other platforms to know if these challenges are just things that will grin and bear because the overall service of Restream is better. I don't know. I bet you YouTube or any of the other platforms, or I bet they got challenges too. I trust in the people, the people that tell me. But man, I'm sorry. I don't know how long we were just off the air. I don't know how long the mic was dead. So, all right, what else do we have? So there's the Derby. We got some new Lego. Well, okay. Oh man, I don't want to go into the weekend with this. I like the Lego propaganda AI Iranian videos. Well, they're popping them out like 5 a day. And one stood out to me. I don't even want to go into it. I'm tired of it. There's a new video out by them that seems to be taking a different approach. The previous videos were all designed to humiliate and mock Donald Trump, to make him look like a fool. They were all targeting him. Well, there's a new one out that the approach is much different, and it's more of a people to people. Come on, guys, look at him, and it's very, I don't know. It's just a different tactic, and it's obviously propaganda designed to connect with Americans. And the minute I saw it, I was like, do I want to show this? Let's just let people go watch it on their own if they're interested in it. But I don't want to be because I will say this, I watched it and it moved me. And if that was the intent of the propaganda being made by our supposed enemy, if that was the intent to move me, to make me go, oh, that's interesting, I never really looked at it that way. Well, they were effective. So anyway, it's out there, and it's an interesting strategic shift in how they're trying to sort of get their side of things across to the American people. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. They did basically the video. They're just pointing out. They're like, you guys know that these are all just rich guys, right? And it's very interesting. It's more of a power to the people kind of position that they're taking now instead of just trying to humiliate the president. What else do I want to mention? Did you guys take my advice? If you got this whole weekend, here's what you can do this weekend. You want to hear a really cool thing? Okay, here you go. I told you yesterday about the new show on Netflix, the new Kevin Hart comedy competition called Kevin Hart Funny AF, where it's basically like the old NBC series Last Comic Standing, where they do a nationwide search for the best young comedians and all that. And normally I don't bat an eye at these things, but for some reason I was interested in the fact that they drew specifically from the Improv or the Comedy Stores where they shift to, but the great clubs in Los Angeles, the greatest comedy club in the world that I think, which is the Cellar in New York, and then also like my favorite sketch comedy place, which is the Second City, which isn't known for stand up. But anyway, so they featured those three locations. So that's why I started watching. I was like, okay, I've been to all of these places. Let me watch. Let me see what the local talent is. And I got hooked. I got hooked as I get hooked with a lot of these competition reality series where it really does turn into something that you're emotionally invested in. Told you yesterday about the kid from Plano, Texas, who's Usama Sadiq or whatever, who is certainly one of the real threats to win this whole thing. Anyway, here's how the series goes. I think it's 4 episodes that you can watch over the weekend. It's 4 episodes. The first 3, yeah, that's what it is. The first 3, no, it's 5 episodes. Yeah, so get on it tonight. The first 3 are the auditions, which are really good and interesting. The 4th episode is some kind of challenge where they do a roast of Marshawn Lynch. They do like remember the Comedy Central style roast. So it's Kevin Hart, Nikki Glaser, Marshawn Lynch, and then all of the 10 finalists. They do this roast. It has a very good episode too. That's really funny. And then I think there's one more episode. So I think maybe you could watch 4 of the episodes at will. But on Monday night is the live finals on Netflix. So you want to be all caught up because you want to tune in and you want to watch it live because it's going to be live voting and all that. You know, Netflix, they're trying to do live streaming and stuff. But it's interesting how they laid the groundwork for this live event on Monday by having a regular competition that we're all familiar with. We know how it works. We've seen American Idol. We get it. We watch these episodes. And now the live finale will be Monday. So if you're looking for something fun to watch, I've been really impressed. Really impressed. And you know I'm a comedy snob. And you know I'm a man of a certain age. And I've long been going around saying that comedy is dead and you can't be funny anymore. Well, this show has proven that is wrong. There's a guy on there. His name is Winston. Yeah, I don't want to go into it. Just enjoy it yourself. There are some really talented people who we don't know who the hell they are, and they're being spotlit on this series. It's really good. Funny AF with the live final coming up on Monday on Netflix. So during the roast of Marshawn Lynch, all right, I'm going to kill this guy. This joke was so funny. During the roast of Marshawn Lynch, you know how the roaster will get up and they'll say a little something about the person being roasted, but then they'll work their way around the room, right? That's the point of the roast. It's not just the subject of the roast who's being roasted. It's also the fellow roasters, roast on roast crime, where they're like killing each other. So Kevin Hart is not being roasted, but he's one of the people there that's on the dais. And this girl gets up and tells the story about how Kevin Hart is a homophobe. And if you remember, Kevin Hart was supposed to host the Oscars in 2019, and they fired him like with a week before the Oscars because some old tweets where he made some jokes that in 2019 meant he couldn't host the Oscars. But in 2026, we can openly make fun of it. Anyway, if you remember that story, Kevin Hart wasn't allowed to host the Oscars because it was believed that he was homophobic. So that's the premise that this comedian gets up. And she says, she says, yeah, she rehashes the story. Oops, sorry. I got to tune that down. So she rehashes the story, refreshes it in everybody's mind. 2019, Kevin Hart. So I'm so sorry, Kevin, that you weren't allowed to host the Oscars back in 2019. I think we all know that was taken out of context, and it was exactly the kind of situation that a lot of good people fell victim to back then. Now, with Kevin's approval, I have the opening monologue that he was going to make. Would you all like to hear it? And everybody's like, yeah. So she's going to read what would have been Kevin Hart's opening monologue back for the Oscars in 2019. And she pulls out this big, long piece of paper. And we're like, oh, geez, she's really going to do it. And she goes, okay, here it is. Welcome to the Oscars, faggots. It was just hysterical. It killed the room. She was so funny. Welcome to the Oscars, faggots. And by the way, this is a Gen Z comic. This is a Gen Z comic with a nose piercing, and she's probably offended by everything. She got up and she told a whale of a roast joke. Just fucking crushed. Would you like to hear it? And everybody's preparing for this long speech. She just says, welcome to the Oscars, faggots. Okay, so you can watch that. Trust me, I didn't really ruin anything for you. I just told you one joke, but it's funny. Kevin Hart's Funny AF on Netflix with the live finals coming up on Monday. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you once again. Is my microphone off again? No, I guess not. All right. I guess that's it. Have a good weekend, okay? We start Pledge Week on Monday, so be prepared for me to start shaking my cup. I love you guys. Have a great one, okay? Bye.